Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned into CourtBattleLeague.com, brought to you by MadGamer.com, and we have a special treat for today. A double header, that's right, an arenas tournament, and then right after that ends, we're jumping into Battle Royale, what you know and love about Apex. It is going down today. I am your host, Mad Gamer, and man, it is gonna be something special. I want to take just a quick second to invite everybody that's interested in getting involved to jump on in, come over to our Discord and sign up, because these are community events. Everybody's able to qualify and jump into future tournaments with us, but all you have to do is come to our Discord and get involved. That in mind, we're going to just do a quick rundown about today and our future as we go forward. First and foremost, you're going to be seeing a ton of course, Apex Legends as we know and love. We're going to start off with Arenas. Arenas is a brand new game mode for Apex Legends, and I'm excited because there's not a lot of people out here doing what we do, baby. And as you can see here, this is the flyer inviting you to come to join into these qualifiers. These qualifiers will get you into the majors. From the majors, you can make it into the championships, and it's a great time for everybody that wants to be competitive and be showcased on these events. So feel free to join us and get going with what we have to offer for you. With that in mind, I want to showcase also our bracket for today. Today's bracket is bringing a couple top teams that are already possibly making it into the majors. They haven't won in the qualifiers, but they are top teams in our stats and statistics. You have DIB versus Raven Alpha, officially matching up. First match that you're going to see. It's gonna be very exciting. From there, you have multiple teams that are new and that have not competed, so we're going to talk about them as we go forward, and you can see what is happening. With that in mind, be ready for what is to come. It's going to be a good night, can guarantee that. And before we talk about good night, let's talk about our setup for the future. We have so much going on in July. Games after games after games. Today you're getting a doubleheader. Tomorrow you're getting another doubleheader, and next week you're gonna get 3 doubleheaders back to back. From now on, we're probably gonna keep doing these doubleheaders because something that the community wants and they love these events. So we want to continue to give you guys that. As long as the players show up, we will be excited to offer you guys nothing but the best of Apex Legends tournament series that we have. Be ready for what's to come. It's going to be very interesting. And talking about very interesting, I want you guys to show love and respect and appreciation for a co-host who's come by already before, and we are going to introduce him once again. He has brought that fire, that spark, that energy that you can all appreciate, like myself, and now get to introduce him once again, Mr. Why Not himself. What's going on, Why Not?
AKA Why Not Be Casting, and I'm kind of a freaking big deal. If you don't know, now you know.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So he's gonna be our main co-host for tonight, and we have a very special guest who's gonna be off camera, and I just want to send him peace and love and congratulations. A player in our actual events winning and getting into the majors, the captain of BTS, the one and only Kyle's Worth, is going to be casting with us as well. What's up, Kyle?
Yeah, what's up, Mag? Thanks for having me on tonight. Looking forward to see how these arena tournaments go, though.
Definitely. And Kyle has so much experience. We saw him be one of the top players and battling through every single week, and we finally got to see him win last week and take that title to get into the majors, a guaranteed ticket. Today, everybody's playing arenas. It's a whole different ball game from what we saw in the battle royale scene, and it's a new world. And we're going to just get it started, guys, and we're going to get you guys involved in there. And once again, I just want to take a second to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank all the players who are involved. It's a long day today, starting off with the awesome arena game mode. Personally, this is the reason why I started these tournament series, and now we finally have it on board. And on top of that, we're going to bring you battle royale right after this. So in the next couple hours, you'll have a winner for arenas, and then we'll move on to the battle royale scene. So pretty much be ready for a great night. It is going to be a blast, and we're gonna kick off with two teams that you know and love if you've watched all of my events. All right, Raven Alpha, a team who has 3 branches already trying to build their own esports brand, and man, oh man, they are something special. On top of that, we've seen DIB competing and being one of the top teams during our battle royale scene, and it looks like they don't want to just dominate there. Looks like they want to come on board and take over in the actual arena. And this is special, guys, because you have to understand we're going to be seeing 2 teams one-on-one. This is not about getting third party. This is, can you beat me or can I beat you? And why not? Why don't you talk to me about your experience with this? And you've already casted last 2 weeks ago for our first ever arenas. So can you talk to me about what your thoughts here going into this game? It's about to start right now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the arenas game mode. I mean, it's high action. It gives you that final circle kind of engagement every single round. The whole buying process is very well thought of, and we're starting to see that right now, as obviously you can't afford to get too many heals off the rip in round number 1. But our Octane player going right into the supply bin, grabbing as much as possible, and he might end up sharing with his friends or may not. I mean, hey, he's an Octane player. He's gonna need those heals.
Definitely gonna need those heals, and we're gonna have Kyle also give his impressions continuously here at any point and every chance he gets, because he has such great insight, guys, and a valuable person to listen to if you're just a player or somebody who enjoys this scene. Kyle's worth with a lot of knowledge and wisdom on his play personally that I've witnessed. So Kyle, what are you seeing here from this first match?
I'm loving the aggressiveness from RVN, but Team Dib, they're doing a very good thing of rotating out the guys. Whenever one gets hurt, they back off, and they just kind of rotate round in a circle and just slowly deal out that damage, and that's what's giving them the upper hand on this first round.
Yeah, that was a good first round for them, and it's looking good so far. It's just the beginning. We have much more to go. Again, the way this is set up, just to break it down for everybody, you just saw round 1 of game 1, and pretty much in arenas you're playing match point. So basically first team to get to 3 can win it, but if you're tied 2-2, you have to win by an extra point. So you have to reach match point and then win from there. So with that in mind, that is exactly how we also set up our tournament series. So it's not a best of 7, it's whoever wins match point when they get to 3. So we'll see what happens here. Round 2 of game 1 begins now.
And I like the way Dib is playing this right now. They actually already had a jump pad in round number 2. They upped the tempo, and then just in case their team wanted to counteract with their own aggressiveness, they set up a Watson fence around their entire perimeter of this roof. So if anybody tries to push in, they're gonna be stumped. They're gonna take that heavy damage, and ultimately gonna have those hit markers to give you all the information that you need as our Octane player putting cross map shots with this Vault 2X. Let me tell you, this Vault does absolute work. When I first started using. I'm like, okay, it's a machine gun, you know, it's a submachine gun. I want to get up in those up close engagements, but if you use it right, if you control that recoil, you can really use it for that mid-range, or dare I say even long range engagements. But you know, enough about what I think about it. A man who knows his worth, obviously Mr. Cowsworth, as a player. Why don't you tell me more about the composition that these and the weapons that these players are using?
Yeah, no, Team Dib have got a very, very strong position, and the zone's also pulling into their favour, so they do not need to leave the safety of those Watson fences at all for the next round. And they're just forcing RVN to have to go pick up the care package and the other supplies, because they're just getting peppered down like mad.
It's obviously not in a favorable position for them, but Dib knows they know exactly what they want to do. They know exactly what they want to accomplish. I'm on board now with RVN of Valkyrie at the moment, rocking that 30-30. So want to get into a little bit of long range battles, even with Valkyrie's Q, in case he gets into a non-advantageous position. He can easily get from high ground to low ground, or back and forth from low to high quickly with that jetpack. And here comes the missiles coming in, stunning his opponent, getting that early damage, getting the hit markers, all the information that he needs, but he's taking heavy damage, and his teammate Bloodhound gonna go down. Valkyrie goes down as well. That's gonna be leaving Wraith by himself, and 3 go down for RVN.
Yeah, I love that right there. And you're looking at somewhat of a domination so far by Teams Dibs. They're doing pretty good, and they've always showcased that they're one of the top teams, but so has Raven. And this is the first game. I always consider first games somewhat of a feel out process. If you watch boxing like myself, you know, you just feel your opponent out. You see what they're trying to do. You see where they're at, their power and all of this. So, you know, you finally get to see exactly how good RVN and BID are. So this round right here is going to decide possibly not just this one game, but the series as far as psychologically. Can Raven come back and fight?
And now I'm liking the way RVN is playing this right now. They notice that every single time their Dibs Octane player in Ragnarok always pushes that supply bin and gets those heal advantage. You know, he grabs those shields, makes sure that he's good and ready. This time, they ended up baiting that supply bin and putting as much damage as possible, but even that was not enough to put Octane down. I want to see them maybe do that once again, maybe rock some R301s, maybe even that 30-30 or G7 Scout, and really punish that Octane player for pushing the supply bin. If they can get that early pick and force a 3v2 situation, Cowsworth, you already know what the numbers do. If you get that early pick and force a 3v2, it's going to be looking very good for you and your entire team, at least for one round.
Yeah, no, definitely. RVN are kind of really spreading themselves out of these last 3 rounds, and where Team Dib are just sticking close together, they're dealing the damage, and then they're just aping that one guy that is down and out. They're just forcing that 2v3 situation that's just giving them the advantage every single round so far. They're playing it really well.
Still on board here with RVN and Bloodhound, popping a shield battery early. Has a couple of cells in his back pocket just in case, but the Wraith player will be taking some heavy damage off of screen, ends up losing all of Wraith's shields, including about 75% of her health, forced to back down. Bloodhound, I'm gonna need him to play a little bit more aggressive, maybe cover his teammates back while he's while that Wraith is healing, because Valkyrie's doing the same thing. Valkyrie's shield's going empty. Bloodhound hasn't found an exact angle to get some damage in, and now he's gonna be taking early damage. Luckily, he has that longbow, so I mean, I believe it received a recent buff, so it was already deadly to begin with. If you can catch a couple of shots with that longbow, you can really stabilize and equalize the situation on your opponents, as Valkyrie does go down through 2v3. Wraith taking heavy damage. Bloodhound's gonna lose all of his shields here, running into the hill. This is not looking good, Cal.
No, they are at serious disadvantage, but the Bloodhound, if he can pop that heal, he does have an Eva 8, and that can come in clutch in situations like this over and over, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it off at all.
Yes, and you talk about great stuff right there. Just a domination round right there. 3 in a row, which pretty much seals the deal. Now, if it was 2-2, the match would continue. It would match point, but that right there was great stuff, again, by DIB. And we're going to take a look at the finish here. And y'all tell me what you guys see here in this finale here. Just a quick replay.
I mean, I see Bloodhound struggling to catch an angle on his opponent while ultimately his teammates are taking heavy damage. You saw right there, Rate's already healing. So you're already in a 2v3 situation. Valkyrie's taking heavy damage. He needed to catch some kind of angle. That tells me that maybe that communication isn't as good in RVN because he's still looking for an opponent. And finally, when he spots one, he ends up getting beamed, and now he's forced to back down and heal. I'm going to need a little bit more of efficient communication, calling out before you shoot or while you're shooting, calling out a player where they are and also where they're going. Because the more information you can give your teammates, the better they can cover you, the better they can catch angles and not take early damage. You have to take advantage of your numbers and also that damage counter as well. As you see Bloodhound trying to advance forward with that EVA 8, and that was that exact moment Valkyrie goes down. He gets caught in the hill. It looked a little disorganized. I'm not going to lie to you.
Definitely, I agree with that. And I think that's the re-up right after the first game. Most likely the teams will discuss how to play this better, what to change, sticking together and doing things proper. The way we just saw DIB killing it and taking care of business right off the bat. You talk about great start. That's a great start for DIB, and they have a chance to keep this rolling. If they win 3 in a row, we're going to go into game 2 here, but if they win 3 in a row, that's it. The series is over. But so Ravens doesn't want to go down 2-0 on this next game. They want to make it like if this next game is everything. That way they can be a little more comfortable and get back into their game plan and push forward. We're going to see what they can do. Of course, it's a lot easier said than done when you have great teams that you have to face. Everybody has a game plan until they get popped in the mouth, as a legendary boxer once said. So let's see what happens here. It's still very early, and it's still a lot of time to figure out what these guys can do. Speaking of what these guys can do, take a quick look into our brackets. As you can see here, at this very moment while we are talking, Zero versus Expo are also battling it out right now, trying to get themselves into the championship. So we'll see what they could do, if they could make it into the next round. Still very early for every team, right? We still got a lot of action to go, but you are welcome to enjoy. And with that in mind, you just watched DIB it, which is dominate in battle. That's the nickname I'm giving them right now. But they are 1-0 versus Team Raven, and we are going to go into game 2 shortly. We just want to make sure everybody's ready and set. It is looking really good. What would you change, Kyle, if you wanted to change something there when it comes to these teams and the way they're playing right now? If you're Raven right now.
If I was Raven, the longbow, personally on that map, the map's too small. The longbow's not the play. If you want a bit of range, a G7 is going to hurt, and you can use that thing up close. So personally, if I were them, I'd be looking for maybe a Gibby, an Octane, and get that damage off early. Use your Vault, use your G7s, your EVA 8s, get that early damage and press that advantage. Don't give them time to pop off those cells. They're not going to have bats early on. Push them, and you'll turn it around. Some people panic as soon as they get some damage off on them. That's it. They panic. They start to heal, and then they fall apart.
Right. I like that input right there. I think it's a really good breakdown, and it's a simple stuff. I mean, it's not complicated. As long as you can execute it, it's gonna help you succeed, and that's something that I like. Now, why not? Why don't you talk to me about, if you're this winning game 1 already, you have the confidence, what do you feel like is the next move for you to succeed?
Well, I mean, if I'm Team Dib, I'm already feeling good. Obviously, you've proven that you seemingly have more firepower than that RVN squad. You know, you obviously 3-0'd in game 1, and now we're going into what I believe to be phase runners. So I'm gonna play a very cookie cutter strategy. I'm gonna push the strong side of the hill, get there early, and try to force RVN to play towards me. They're the ones who have to get creative in order to beat us, because we've already proven that we can 3-0 our team. So, like I said, very cookie cutter, pushing that that strong side and proper hill early, utilizing the weapons that I feel comfortable with. Obviously, they feel very comfortable with that vault. You keep using that vault, keep doing what you do, and then ultimately RVN start to come back and start to become more creative and take some rounds from you. Then you need to be able to adjust back on them. But as of right now, keep doing what you're doing, baby.
Yes, I agree with that. And actually, perfect setup for the next map. We are in Phase Runner, and I don't think it's cookie cutter. I think it's the best setup. I watched a movie. I don't want to plug that in, but it's about a bodyguard. It's a funny comedy action movie, and he's always talking about boring is good because his job is to save people's lives. And it's funny because professionals execute well. They're very, very meticulous on small details. They do it extremely well compared to the amateurs who fundamentals are off. The fundamentals are key. So getting to the ring or getting into a high ground is critical for any team. And I do think it's good advice to expect them to go ahead and take care of that. Do the right thing. We'll see what happens. For me personally, I just want to see both teams continue go crazy. Let's get a match point tiebreaker. We can take it to sudden death. We haven't seen that in these tournaments yet. Sudden death means they'll go 9 rounds, something like that. That'll be very exciting to watch and just to cast in general. So we're going into game 2. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. Hopefully this game, gives us a little more from Raven. I felt like they tried, but they didn't have the game plan. It was all DIB doing a great job, performing very well. It's just strategic. You've seen the Wattson and you thought, what is going on with these guys? But that Wattson was nice. It was a good way to stop an aggressive team if someone wants to push you too hard. And I personally liked it. I was excited for that, and I want to see more of those type of legends that are not used frequently enough, but are very good and viable if you have a good team for your professional setup. So pretty interesting stuff. Hope everybody's enjoying themselves. Again, you could definitely get involved. We have another Arenas tournament tomorrow. If you haven't signed up, go sign up now. Go to our Discord. You can also join for next week. And we are going to put out official schedules on Monday for the grand finale as far as the majors and the championships, which are going to be between now and August. It all comes to an end before September is the best I could say without giving you the full schedule. So you are welcome to join us on those. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we are going into game 2 right now with RVN and DIB. Let's get it.
And I really like what RVN is doing on a map like Phase Runner. This map has a lot of open areas. So if you're really trying to slow down your opponent's aggression, maybe create those long range to mid range engagements, utilizing a flatline or R301 after the first round, I think this is a map to do it. And I also like the composition that they're running. I believe they even introduced a lifeline and a Gibby to the equation. So, say Wraith goes down, you can Gibby bubble into a lifeline res and really just hold down an angle and control the numbers. So I like what RVN is doing at the moment. I obviously I want to see them put it to action, but as right now, also they're popping off with Wraith on for RVN Spotlight.
Nice. Yes. And I think right now, sometimes, I always play the ring and it's kind of boring, right? The cookie cutter thing you were talking about, but I think it's the smart thing to do because then you won't have to worry about rotating. Even though it's arenas and there's not a lot of rotating, it still can put you in a vulnerable position as you get into the ring. And we're watching Raven trying to get into the ring now and trying to make their way in a safe spot, and it's not looking good. They're outside. They're going to be uncomfortable getting in, trying to find a good angle and holding a position. And they're using their Gibby bubble here. Smart move to rotate themselves deeper in, and now they're in the fight already. Let's see how this works out for them. I like what DIB's doing. Once again, holding the cookie cutter position. The cookies are good, baby. Eat them all. And they're just sitting comfortable in that ring, deciding not to, you know, take the risk of having to rotate and do anything like that. Very, very comfortable and confident. And I love it. I love it. I love it. And we'll see what happens here. Of course, it's still very early in the round and things can change in less than 5 seconds. And as we say, I see the Sentinel, my favorite gun of season 9. It's a little crazy. I don't use snipers often, but I've been enjoying it as a shotgun, running up on people with a Sentinel, popping off a shot and then switching over to my sub. Just a fun way to play, something different for me. It feels pretty good, but let's see what Ravens can do with this thing here as they try to get back into this game.
And I'm seeing Ragnarok really changing up his strategy a little bit here. He's running that Hemlock and putting down the damage. He might have even gotten it off of a care package considering it's blue. Yes, he did. It's all the way blue maxed out, so he ended up getting it out of the care package. Has a Volt in his side pocket here, but his Valkyrie player will be taking some heavy damage. Loses all of his shields. Forced to even syringe here, so Div finally getting pressure put on them and finally on their back foot. Maybe this is what RVN needed to get that early round win, take that momentum and turn it into a game. You know, it ain't over till it's over. We only saw one game so far, and Ragnarok putting down those Hemlock shots ends up going one shot. He goes down. Valkyrie ends up being one shot as well. Sandra's taking damage. That's going to be the Wattson player, and it looks like all 3 players are going to go down, and RVN have taken complete control of this game in round number 1.
That's one game right there for RVN, and they are a great team. They're called Team Raven, but we call them RVN for short. And like I said, they're a great team, but sometimes teams can just catch you off guard, and that first game, we'll see if it determines anything, but maybe we'll get a whole different ball game here. Maybe it's the map, maybe it's a new composition, maybe they're warming up. First game of the day, getting the nervous jitters out of you. There's a lot of reasons to feel like maybe, you know, my game was off on that first round. So let's see what happens with Raven and DRB. And ladies and gentlemen, looking good so far, but we lost. Why not? But we're still here. I like what I'm seeing from both teams. They're not being overly aggressive. They're taking their time, trying to make sure they do what's right. Forcing it is not a good thing at all. So we'll see what happens from here.
On board here with our Valkyrie player rocking that R301. He has upgraded one time, so he has a little bit of a red dot action here. I know he has at least a few missiles in his back pocket they can utilize, so I'm gonna expect as soon as they maybe get that early damage in, Valkyrie's gonna come off with the cube, drop those missiles, stun and get that early damage, and then the collapse will come in as they approach the 50% push of the map. Doesn't have time to go for the care package, just to keep the pressure on. Gonna double back, hasn't upgraded even now, so now even the back pocket gonna put that shotty to the body, and an R301 as his main gun as shots are starting to ring out here, but he's gonna lose all of his shields.
Yes, he is, but he's still in it, and it's still early here. You know, for me, it's always about that third round. The action really kicks off in the third round, no matter if you're passive. That's what I like about arenas. It just forces actual action nonstop. It's a good way to warm up if you're going to get into the battle royale, ranked, or anything like that. Get a little rhythm in your shot. And right now, DIB destroying. Right now, doing really good. You got to love it. That was a good run by DIB. And man, it's getting interesting. Again, win or lose. Both teams back and forth. We'll see what happens. Take it to game 9. I'm more than happy with that. As a player myself, it's always exciting when you get into those overtime style games. So interesting.
And that was all because of DIB Ragnarok. I had him on the on my other monitor while the main stream was on RVN Alpha, and let me tell you, he was putting down heavy damage on multiple players, and he was a large reason why I ended up winning that round. He did most of the damage as they're starting to up the tempo here with that jump pad, getting right into the action as fast as possible. I have a question for you, Calsworth. Hope you're still with us. Who is your main legend here when you're playing arenas?
Mine personally is Octane. I'm an Octane main. I've used him now for like the past since season 4. Really, I've used him. I've hit masters with him 3 times. He's just a solid character all around, especially with the new jump pad buffs that he's had last season. It's just there's just no competition anymore.
If I can ask a follow-up question as well, so what would describe your play style when using Octane? Are you like an IGL, or are you just getting into action? How would you describe your personal play style?
I personally, for the ranked team and for in the tournaments as well, I am the IGL. I'm always looking at the rotations. I'm always, anytime a third party comes in, if things start to look sour, I'm dropping that jump pad and I'm telling them, let's bounce, let's move, rotate. You know, you always want to keep that swivel on your head.
And that's what I want to see from an Octane player. A lot of our Octane players, even in the pro leagues, like for example, Hal, for example, he's that IGL. He's trying to get that early information, and then just play calling from there as Ragnarok is taking some heavy damage. We're on board with Valkyrie, who's ringing out shots with his R301, just clipping everybody in sight, but his Octane player is going to end up going down. Gibby taking heavy damage. We're in a 3v2 situation if you're a fan of RVM, but they having to recover because they are taking heavy damage. Gibby bringing out shots with his with his R99, having to back down and take his shield battery. So you notice that Dibs putting down as much damage as possible, and even though RVN are pulling off heals, eventually they're gonna run out of resources.
That was great stuff from RVN. Once again, they don't want to give up, and they're gonna keep fighting back. We see a lot of back and forth from these teams, and that's what you want. You want a consistent back and forth to get yourself a chance. And this is more about the psychological aspect, because if you beat me 2-0, maybe I'm feel defeated, maybe I lose my confidence. And that's not for everybody, but there are teams who lose their confidence and just give up on the match because they say maybe this team's too good. But you're seeing where Raven decide that they want all the smoke and that they don't feel like they're less of a team. They're very confident. They're coming in. They're fighting back. They have a chance right now to take it up and turn it up a notch. And we'll see what happens here. Next round.
And it looks like this time RVN might have actually elected to go the weak side of the map here. So the hill's moving over towards this portal, and they're going to gather these materials, also even gather these resources on the left side, and then push into our Dib squad. We're going to see exactly how that goes. So I'm seeing a nice composition here. So I mean, again, Gibby, Lifeline, Wraith. This is a defensive composition, but it's also with team composition. You can utilize those Wraith portals. You can utilize that Gibby ult, and even those bubbles to close the distance. And if things get a little dicey, your Lifeline can come in and neutralize the situation with those heals. And hopefully, she was able to buy a gold backpack as we have a maxed out Spitfire. And I know some Apex players have a problem with this weapon. It seems to be overpowered even after the nerf. But hey, all fair is in tournament play. What matters is the win.
Yes, it does. And a little more input from Kyle here to see where his head's at during this type of situation.
RVN, they've definitely seemed to have found themselves. They've got a footing now. They're getting some points and they're winning some of these rounds. It seems like they definitely seem like they're just taking on board what I said last round. They've got the Gibby, they're being a lot more aggressive, and they're doing really well, really good forward bubble pushes when they do deal off that damage. But unfortunately, it does not look like it is working out for them in this round right now. As it's Lifeline versus the world, and she does go down right now.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Cal. I was gonna agree with. I agree with you. I think RVN was playing excellent up until that point right there. That Gibby player just kind of beelined it and almost aped and ran into a straight line and ended up getting one clipped. And I talk about this all the time. You have to play your numbers in any first-person shooter. I don't care if it's Call of Duty, Halo, or even Apex like we're playing right now. If you're in a 3v3 situation, you got to make sure you're not taking the most damage as opposed to your opponents. You got to make sure you're not getting that early pick and getting put down first and forcing your team into a 2v3 situation. That Gibby player needs to make sure that as soon as he starts taking damage, you get behind cover. You need to be thinking 2 steps ahead. So if I'm advancing forward, I'm looking at, okay, where's my cover here in case I start to get clipped? How am I gonna push? Am I going left or right here? I need to make sure that I'm always thinking 1, 2, or even 3 steps ahead and not getting one clip like that. I don't like the way Gibby took that early damage here, but we're gonna find out ultimately if they can bounce back, because hey, you know, one bad round doesn't make a game. We've seen obviously RVN have that potential, and we've seen them do some great things. I want to see them do that in this round right here.
No, yeah, definitely. RVN definitely have got a foot in, but they're not playing to the comp. The Gibby should not be that first person pushing in. They have the Wraith. Her tactical is a free, get out of jail free card.
Yes.
She can push, disappear, and while she's pulling back, the Gibby can forward bubble, and you're all there together. Nobody's taking wasted damage, because if your Gibby pushes up and he's the first to go down, you know for a fact that the other team, the 3-man, are just going to absolutely send you, because you've lost your tankiest character that takes the least amount of damage and has the most health for his gun shield. That is just, if that was me personally, we'd be full sending, we wouldn't even think about it.
And for you guys at home, I mean, I don't want you guys to think that we're bashing our players here. You know, this is a learning experience for all of us. You know, I want these players to go back in the past broadcast and watch what, you know, the mistakes that they're making and ultimately learn from them. The only way you're going to learn from them and get better is if you watch your mistakes and ultimately learn from them. We've seen some great things done by professional players, and sometimes we've seen some mistakes done even by our professional players. But what separates them from the average Joe is not only that ability to shoot, not only that high IQ, but their ability to look at themselves at a third person and admit when they made a wrong play and ultimately fix that going forward. As I'm on board here with our Wattson player rocking the longbow. Okay, so clearly a lot of these players are liking the way the longbow interacts, especially after it's received the buff. And on a map open like Phase Runner, I'm not mad at this, Kyle. I want to see more longbow action. I want to see a combo composition where maybe you have that one player sitting back, putting down that early damage and making call outs, and having the 2 very aggressive players get in the face and force your opponents on their back foot and make them uncomfortable. Oh my.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. The longbow, you don't sleep on it, especially after the buff. But I mean, we've recently been utilizing the charged up Sentinel, because that thing hits like a train. And no, it doesn't matter if you're a Gibby or what, your armor's gone. It's just devastating. So it's nice to see some snipers actually being played in arenas, especially when it first started off. All it used to be was R99s, EVA 8s, jump pads, and just aping people like mad without even a second thought.
Back and forward action we're seeing right here between both of these teams. Both of these teams are playing impressive. RVN and Divs. Like, we haven't seen, you know, perfect Apex from both of these squads, but let me tell you, when they win, they are dominating. Both of these teams have high amounts of firepower. They clearly have a good grasp of how the meta's played, and they just hit their shots. At the end of the day, you can have the highest IQ in the world. If you're not hitting your shots, you're not going to be successful. As Dib Ragnarok making their way over toward the portal side of the map. Once again, Ragnarok always collecting those materials and getting the supplies. I don't even think he even buys any heals, because he's always the first one towards these pills, getting himself a few batteries. I'm looking at him right now, and clearly he does buy heals because he has 8 batteries at the moment. Hey, Ragnarok, you need to share that with your team over here. You're sitting on 8 batteries right now.
No, it's mad, but as an Octane, I'd do the exact same thing. I wouldn't even bother buying heals. I'd just go full send, take them batteries, and, you know, if you snooze, you lose.
Hey. He's currently also rocking an R301, and it's actually fully kitted, a fully kitted R301. Not only does it have that 2x zoom with the bruiser, but it also even has that anvil receiver, which is going to slow down the rate of fire, but give even more damage, making it even more deadly than it already is. A shot starting to ring out. He doesn't quite hit Gibby as far as his flesh. He hits more of the arm shield on that one, which you saw the white indicator of a shot starting to ring out even more. Not quite hitting, but eventually these shots are going to start hitting. Eventually they're going to start connecting, and they're going to start putting damage and really forcing RVN onto their back foot.
No, yeah, definitely. I feel Team Raven, their Gibby needs to be up by Spotlight. I mean, this Wraith is constantly in their face all the time, half health, does not even care. If this Gibby, if Cyclone, if he was on top of Wraith all the time, dropping that bubble, these guys would just be an absolute menace to defend against.
And Ragnarok trying to get some height advantage there, climbing up all in the mountains, not quite getting up top, but I like the thought process behind as he's trying to slide and help his Valkyrie player out. You'll notice that a lot of times, anytime you hear any kind of damage go off on the map, you'll notice that players hear that indicator, they want to get in there. Not only they want to help their teammate in team fire, because it's obviously easier, but also once shots are ringing out, you know nobody's looking at you, so you can get that cheap damage. As Octane gonna get one clip and put down. Valkyrie gonna be taking heavy damage on the other side of the screen here, losing all of his shields and half his health. Wraith currently by himself with the R301, and that 2-4X. Can Wraith pull off the near impossible?
Yeah, Wraith's looking strong right now. She's got that Eva Ray as a backup as well. And she's quite close to that Watson fence. She can charge up her shield slowly, but she looks like she wants to take the Gibby. But the zone is coming in. She's not going to have time. She needs to rotate and push in and deal some damage.
It's a 2v1 situation. I'm gonna need Dibs to up the tempo here. You cannot allow Wraith to just sit here and run around the map with the hill on his backside. There we go. Get aggressive. Get in that Wraith space. Make him one shot and put him down. Wraith goes down, and so does the entire team right there. I love the aggression. I talk about it all the time. I'm gonna sound like a broken record with this one. You need to play your numbers. When you get that early damage and when you get those early picks in, make your opponent uncomfortable. Don't give them any chance to breathe or even to formulate a plan, or allow the IGL to formulate a plan. Get in their face and make them play on their back foot.
No, yeah, definitely. The Wraith played that really well as well. She knocked the Octane. She got damage off on the Watson, really hurt him. If she just kept on pressing with that Eva Ray, that could have gone a lot better for him, but no, that was well both played for both sides there.
Octane pushing this portal side of the map here, and again, he just gets these free supplies every single time, but it looks like once again, RVN really comfortable playing the weak side of the hill. They have no problem with popping off and not going through portals and really sneaking in, getting that early damage like you're seeing right here as Ragnarok. He's losing most of his shields and even some of his health. Ragnarok gonna have to be forced to back down and get towards his team and reformulate, catch a different angle here because he's taking damage. Shots are definitely starting to ring out.
Yeah, RVN's looking really strong this round. They're definitely getting the picks and they're not wasting their own heals.
Ooh.
It's nice and back and forth. Cyclone does take some damage, but Dib is hurting bad.
Ragnarok once again putting down shots with his R301. It is deadly. This thing can beam you, and this is what I love. You always need to buy nades in arenas. When that player is starting to hide behind cover, you need to get him out of there. You don't want to play stupid aggressive. You want to play smart, and that's what ArcStars allow you to do. Octane whipping out the Eva, putting the shoddy to the body, but two players on the squad going to go down, leaving Valkyrie by himself with literally half health at the moment, and it's not going to matter because RVN put the damage down and put Dibs down. Let me tell you, RVN knows that they're in this game. They are not, as Matt kind of alluded to before, they're not rolling over just because they lost game number one. They are putting the pressure back on Dibs and say, hey, look, you may be the number one squad, but we're number two. We're right behind you, and we're coming for that throne.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that lifeline came in clutch there with the Gibby ult coming down. got straight on the res for the Wraith. Could have gone for the res on the Gibby as well after he was knocked, and it was just a nice cleanup from there. There was nothing they could do when they traded 2 for 2 when you've got a lifeline on the other side.
Now I find this a little bit interesting with the composition that Raven is starting to play. You'll notice that their Wraith player has elected to go charge rifles. So having the Spitfire as their main, utilize that charge rifle in the back pocket for those long range engagements. That's going to be easy and cheap damage. But what I didn't notice is Wraith did not pick up any extra batteries. Only 2 batteries. So if this does end up being a long and drawn out battle, Wraith did utilize all their resources to get 2 weapons and even to even upgrade them, but didn't utilize their resource to get shield cells, to get shield batteries in case this does become a long and drawn out fight. So we're gonna see if that ends up paying off for our Raven squad, specifically this Wraith player in Spotlight.
Oh yeah, definitely. This Wraith is just getting damage off from behind, and Team Dib don't even know where these shots are coming from. And now they're trying to force a 3v2, but they are hurting, and this Wraith is slowly creeping up on them.
I asked would it pay off because I said it, you're gonna get that cheap and easy damage with the charge rifle, but not enough shields. Wraith says, you know, I don't need shields. I got my Q. That's all I need in this world is my Q. As he's gonna get right out of dodge. I knew it was coming. No shields. Gets right in. He also even has a portal as well as the lifeline player gonna be taking some early damage, losing all of his shields and most of his health. Oh, it looks like Gibby gonna be taking some damage as well. Gibby going down to about 25% health at the moment, but Wraith coming on the weak side flank. This might pay dividends here with RVN Spotlight. But we're on board here with I believe it's Ragnarok, our Octane player on the other side of things, rocking the R301 fully maxed.
No, yeah, they're looking strong right now. Team Dib look like they've just regrouped. They're all back together. They're all healthy, and they're just waiting out this zone. And RVN now do need press. They've lost the advantage that they had from the from Spotlight's push from behind. They now need to group up and just get in there. RVN is currently on his own, just chilling behind them again. I think he's going to go in and just try and just mess them up from behind. He's loving these dirty little choke spots, and there he goes right there.
Let me tell you, that Spitfire can shoot for days. I'm a big fan of this weapon. I don't break it out early, but look at that. Spotlight getting right in between enemy action, getting right. He was between 3 different players and puts down the damage, puts down 2 players, and RVN are going to become your champions of game number 2. We are tied up here, ladies and gentlemen. We are tied up.
Yes, and what a game 2 it was. A lot of back and forth. And now what do we have, guys? You saw it earlier, it was 1-0. And we're looking at something a lot interesting. This is where it turns up. You're going to get some real hype aspects when it comes to the gameplay. Everybody's going to know every decision matters. You're not just going to yeet it every time. You're going to play strategic and play smart and do the right thing. So we just got RVN, if I'm correct. They just won that last game.
Yeah.
And now it is a tied game as far as the games go in the series. It's 1-1. So anybody's ball game for game 3. Still super early for these teams. They have a long way to go, because I love it when this turns into what exactly I said here, the match point system. So they went back and forth over and over and over because they had to reach match point and then win it all. So they still have a ways to go, 2 games in order to take this and move on into the next round. And man, oh man, it was really good from them. I like what I saw, and it's still super early. Again, you want to pay close attention to what's going on. Before we talk about what's going on, we want to let everybody know these servers are new for arenas. So Respawn is still working on bugs and fixes. There's some issues and there's some reasons why, you know, there's certain display issues that are happening, but overall we get the gameplay. We know what's going on, who's winning. We're very excited to bring this to you. So please feel free to jump on board. This is our schedule for next week. Today we have a double header. After this, we're going to have Battle Royale. So pretty much all night long, we got you for the day. So get some food, relax, root for your team, get into the chat, share this on social media, get involved. I know I'm streaming on multiple platforms. They have me on front page for the mobile streaming sites, but we're also on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, literally everywhere that you can name, we are there for you guys. So thank you guys. We see you and we acknowledge you, but we are focused on these games, and you can also be a part of these games by jumping in and getting on board with us during these tournaments. So yes, stay tuned, rock with us, go ahead and get yourself excited for what's to come. We're about to go into game 3, and this game right here is gonna be a pivotal one. Whoever gets to game 2 puts some sweat on the other teams for they to be able to survive and thrive in these type of scenarios. It's not easy. It's easier said than done when it comes to that. So let's see what happens. Again, I don't like talking beforehand, but I do understand that it's super early and it's anybody's game. Can you guys break down what you just saw there as we showcase a little bit of the replay?
Yeah, I mean, obviously RVN feel very comfortable here on Phase Runner, and although they ended up getting 0-3'd in game 1, it showed a mental resilience for them to be able to come back here in game 2 and to always keep it close and really changing up their strategy a little bit when it comes to legend composition, even weapon composition as well. I love the way RVN played Phase Runner. When I look at Phase Runner, I think it plays I guess somewhat similar to the map we're going to be going to, where it really favors that long range engagements, when it really favors that the mid range engagement, that R301, the longbow. I want to see RVN continue to ride this momentum out and really force Dibs on their back foot, because we already know when Dibs gets up close to you, when they get up close and personal in your face and force these close range engagements, it seems they have a little bit more firepower in those type of situations that we saw in game number 1. So we're going to see what RVN ends up doing here as Ragnarok just popping this battery, coming out quick, try to put down the damage. I like the way Ragnarok's been playing. Kyle's, I know you said you're an Octane main. We've seen Ragnarok playing the Octane main himself. How would you grade his Octane play versus yours?
That's hard to say. In a single 1v1, ask anybody that plays with me, I am the strangest Octane you'll ever meet in your life. One minute you think I'm one place, next I'm the other side of the map, and I've found a charge rifle from nowhere. Honestly, I am not a normal Octane main, but I just like that. I like to be unpredictable. Where you think, right, he's behind this building or he's inside, next thing you know, I'm actually jumping down off the roof and I'm behind you, shooting you with a Volt. But he's playing this tremendously well. He's utilizing the walls, he's using his stim when he needs to, and not just wasting it. And he's hoarding those meds, he's loving the meds.
Yeah, and they just finished wiping already as we spoke. Game 3 was underway, and already game 3 for Dibs doing their job, which just coming in and dominating, and that is a good game 3 start for round 1. Of course, they got to win 3 in a row, and you saw Raven take it up a notch in that last matchup. So it's still very early and a lot of action going on, and we're going to take a look at Raven and see what they got to offer here when it comes to their actual gameplay. They've done tremendous with being able to just stay active and fight back after losing the first game, winning the second, and they can actually take this now and have the advantage for the first time. And again, it all can change in a heartbeat. So let's see what happens as we go forward.
And you're noticing that first round, I found it very interesting that we talked about Dib being very comfortable with those close range engagements, and it's to the point where they even had Dib Sandra utilizing Watson to close off some of the bunker exits. So Dib was literally closing the distance on RVN, forced them in the bunker, and in case they tried to go out the front, they would have ran into Sandra's Watson fences, giving them the hit markers, stunning their opponent. I like the way they're playing, and once again, Ragnarok getting into the faces, and a player on RVN is going to go down, forcing a 2v3 situation. That's going to be that Wraith player who's, I mean, they're down but not out. They can still give out comms, they can still block doorways, but not for long, because Wraith ends up being taken down, and Dib are still 3 players up, Kyle. That's not good.
No, that's not good at all. Not on a map like this. These guys have all got mobility. They've all got mobility. You have to play a lot smarter in an open map with mobility. You guys need to force them to come to you. You have the Gibby, you can hold the buildings, you can bubble inside by the doors and force it into a 3v1 situation. These guys just need to calm down, take a breath, and just regroup and think about what they're playing.
Yeah, we're really starting to see Dib begun with upping the tempo once again, especially on this map here, where I guess they weren't able to do that as effectively on Phase Runner. And normally I think of this map, I think of long range engagements as well, very similar to Phase Runner, but Dib just having that way of closing the distance and making it work for them. I'm liking the way that they're playing it. Ragnarok advancing forward once again, utilizing all the resources, even grabbing some materials for his team, and so does Furies, that Valkyrie player, getting the materials on the other side. So if we do go to another round, they'll obviously be kitted out and be able to max out that R301, max out that vault that they love to use. And this can be dangerous if you're a fan of Raven and RVN, but I'm still on board here with Mr. Ragnarok, pinging his opponent, has the Arc Star ready. Dib feeling real comfortable, and Watson setting things up with the fence here. I'm not sure exactly what Watson's looking to do with this upward fence. Can it tank damage? I don't even know, Kyle. That's a weird place to put the fence.
No. I'm liking it, though. I'm liking it. I love the defensive aggro that they're playing. Just popping the fences down just to let them know, look, we're here, you're not pushing. They have to climb. They don't have the luxury of a Valk that can just zip over the fence anytime they want. So they're just they're just flexing a little bit, just popping down, just like, look, this is our plot, this is my pad. If you're not just gonna roll up on in this.
Building a fort on top of this bunker is Dib, and here we go. Ragnarok going on the weak side flank over toward the opposing bunker. He sees the pressure coming. I believe that was big old Gibby with that arm shield that gave him the indicator, let him know that, hey, they're flanking right side. He gets the early damage on that player on the top orb, even puts down the damage on big old Gibby over there. Still has that vault. I talked about it before. That vault, even though it's a close range weapon, it's very comfortable in these mid-range gunfights as he cracks another player while taking minimal damage, backs down and sells up, and he's getting right back in the action. We have Sandra wrapping up over toward that top orb, putting down damage. Fury's going to take some early damage here, losing all of his shields, and here comes the Valkyrie missiles and the collapse. Dib looking real good. They have players on all sides of Team Raven.
Yeah, they are just everywhere. They're surrounding them, and the Gibby is hurting.
Wow.
And there we go. Just easy clean up at the end there, but Gibby should not have held that his ultimate for so long. They should have slapped it down, forward bubble, and pushed them and scared them off from that high ground that they had. But Team Dib played that incredibly well then.
That was a domination. I mean, they just came in after going through the struggle of fighting for that last game and losing. The determination and the execution that we just saw was great by Team Dib, and that's just the beginning, because now they're officially in match point. We love match point in our series, and this right here is their match point. They have a chance to win it all. Now, if they let Raven back in and Raven wins the next one, it's going to be tied, so they have to get through the tiebreaker so they can be in match point again. So that is a really cool back and forth. Instead of just a best of 7 series, it's really about who can reach match point. And if it keeps going back and forth, we'll end up going 9 games, and the 9th game will be sudden death. Whoever wins that wins the whole thing, which I don't think it'll get there. It got close on the last game we've had, but right now, going into game 4, great display by all these teams so far. And again, Raven's not a team to sleep on. Just because you lose a game doesn't mean that it's over for you. So We fixed a lot of technical issues that we've had. We're ready to go. The arenas is working smoothly. The servers are great right now. Everything is pretty comfortable, guys. So get ready for this next match. It can be a special one where DIB finishes it off, or Raven with the comeback trying to keep it alive and take control of themselves. So they have not had the chance to take a lead here in these games, but pretty good stuff. Game 4 starting shortly once these guys prep and they're ready to go. Should be interesting to see which team has what it takes. And again, I told you guys these were top teams in the battle royale scene, and they come on over and they're able to display it as good as they did so far. And that's what we want to see. And we want to see every team, and we want to showcase you guys as best as possible for these tournaments. And man, we're gonna go into Thermal Station. I feel like this is a unique map. What do you guys got to say about this? If you want to break down your thoughts, your strategies, a little bit of everything for Thermal specifically.
Well, I mean, I could imagine Dib trying to close the distance and make it towards, bring the fight as close as possible towards that center room, because they, as we talked about before, they have that high firepower and they love to get into close range engagements. While Raven, I think Raven's real comfortable slowing things down. What you can do, you can play the perimeter of the map. You can even play that, I guess, almost in front of that lava, utilizing those walls around the supply bin to create these longer angles. So it's at first sight, this map seems like only close quarters, but you can play your kind of game. If you want to force those mid-range to long-range engagements, you absolutely can. You just have to have an advanced understanding of the map. I'm going to pass it over to Cowsworth and say, what exactly is you and your team trying to accomplish without you giving away the secret sauce? I don't want you to give away all the sauce to your opponents. What are you guys trying to accomplish in the advanced meta?
Yeah, this map particularly, there are some really annoying strategies that you can adopt for this map. I mean, personally on this, whenever I've played with my guys, this map I have a 100% win rate on. I've never lost a game on this map right now. As it stands, there are some spots on here and some team comps that are that can be quite devastating if you play it right.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And talk about playing it right, not losing, talking that Cowsworth coming in with never undefeated. And I think that's a gauntlet challenge here. We're gonna have to see what people can do if his team does enter the arena scene. But that being said, game 4 is underway right now, and it's ready for you guys. And I'm excited because this is gonna be for all the marbles for Raven and also for DIB. So both teams are pretty much on edge here. This is for all the marbles. You want to play your best, give your all, and we'll see who comes out on top taking this win.
And it looks like Ragnarok spending all of his resources to get that vault. He doesn't have much. He doesn't have any extra tacticals at the moment. He's currently run out, and I'm not even sure exactly what his heal situation looked like. Maybe he only has 2 cells, possibly 2 syringes, and wasn't able to buy any explosives as the shot's starting to ring out once again. That's going to be Gibby trying to take the weak side flank on his right-hand side. He's going to put down the damage, forcing Gibby to back down. And here comes that care package. So, hey, if you didn't get the gun, the exact gun that you wanted, maybe you maybe only got a close range weapon as opposed to a long range one, you could utilize what's in the care package to kind of equalize the situation. As you've seen, Ragnarok already take advantage of resources such as getting the supplies and materials. That care package has resources as well.
Yeah, and we are looking at a very, very, very strange setup for me personally. I like holding closer to the edge to push the team back, but right now Dib's allowing them in to the circle for this round specifically, but just trying to hold them back from afar. I don't like the non-cover. For me here, I would find a better place to fight these guys off. Jumping back and forth is not definitely the move. It's just not safe and it's not worth the risk. So right now Ravens, they're gonna get flanked. Great stuff right here by the team captain, who's developing a bunch of other teams for Raven. And right now, Alpha, the first team ever for Raven, might be able to take this first round right here with the great flank and good stuff by that team captain, Spotlight. But he gets taken down, and now it's a 2-on-1. And with a lifeline, it's going to be a 2-on-3. Can he revive and stay alive? We're going to see right now. And there it is, Raven coming through with the fire and sparking it up perfectly with that flank. And that's what you want to see right there. Not an easy task, but it worked out in their favor. They really came through with that clutch situation. And I like I said with the DIB, they were in the open trying to shoot and push back a team, having to jump off consistently. It's not something that's worth the risk. If you have a better defensive cover, you want to get there and be there. And we saw it right now when the team leader came in and pretty much flanked him to death because he was out in the open. He didn't have great positioning. And we're going to go back to the live feed here and check out what is going on. I like what I'm seeing right now. The aggression by DIB deciding to push in a little closer now. Now going to make Raven a little uncomfortable and themselves uncomfortable, but it can work out in their favor because, man, they are slaughtering the house right now. One last player. Can they do it? Oh my goodness, yes they can. And that right there, DIB not playing defensive, playing aggressive and killing it. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. As I explained, sometimes that confidence can help you win games drastically. And man, oh man, it was a good round. And I like what I'm seeing by them. And we're gonna stay right here. DIB still in the fight.
And that's exactly what you want to see from your squad if you're a fan of DIB. Again, they love getting those close range engagements, so they need to up that tempo, but also make sure that they account for each and every member on that Raven squad. The last time they were fighting a 3v2 for so long, and they allowed that Wraith player, I believe it was Spotlight, to flank or literally crouch and flank around the entire map. They got to make sure that they're calling out the numbers, calling out players by their names, so this way everybody's accounted for, as Spotlight gonna get the early early crack with that longbow. Spotlight even utilizing the longbow on a map such as this, and Watson gonna be the first player to go down, but so does Lifeline. So once again, we're in a 2v2 situation, and they don't have that Lifeline that can bring players up because he was the first one to go down.
Yeah, they're playing this really well, but Spotlight opted for a longbow this round and not an automatic. So he's going to be rocking it in this later round with a Mozambique.
Oh, but I just noticed that Spotlight created that portal to bring the Lifeline back, and now Gibby's going in for the revive on Lifeline. I love the play there, but it took a little bit too long as Wraith ends up going down. So does Gibby, but Lifeline has the gold backpack. They've revived about 18 times, but even I guess it takes 19 to pull off a win because Gibby's finally going to go down. So does Lifeline for the third time, and all of RVN finally being taken out. But you see the power of having a Gibby and even having a Lifeline, even having that Wraith. Lifeline goes down, Wraith portals and bring Lifeline back. Gibby gets the revive. Then once the Lifeline goes up, she utilizes that gold backpack to bring Gibby back at half shields and half health. It's just annoying, but somehow Dib, with all of that firepower, neutralizing the situation and putting all players down about 3 or 4 different times. Now we're gonna see if Dibs can do it once again, because I believe they're up. It might be 2-1 in the situation, possibly even 2-0. I lost track a little bit here, but I believe
yes, it is 2-1
match. I believe they are on match point. So one more win for Dibs, and they're going to be might even be advancing forward.
They will be advancing forward also. So they're pretty much match point in games and in rounds. So if they win this round, they pretty much win the whole thing, and they advance into our semifinals. And they got a team waiting for them, NVO, about to face them on our second servers, but we'll be watching the next two teams who are waiting shortly. Hopefully more exciting as we go forward. And right now, Ravens still have a chance. Let's not give up and think that it's over for them. They are a really good team. and they're just facing another great team. And sometimes it's not your day, it's a little bit off. One decision can change the whole game. So we're gonna see how it plays out. They're still very early here. Again, they can catch right back up. It's never over. And that's the one thing I like about Match Point is, you know, we can go back and forth as long as I tie it. And they can tie it because they won one game early on, the first game. And now they're getting a chance to try to redeem themselves here. And I actually like some of this aggression here. He's able to push them away a bit and not worry too much. So we see what happens. And speaking of worry, Cyclone trying to get into action, doing a good job from afar. And of course, Gibby's such a powerful beast. Even in arenas, he's still very capable of tanking and helping control a match, whether it's rotating or any type of thing. He can do a little bit of everything defensively, offensively. A great legend at play. And again, DIB always in the right position. They just know how to stay in positions properly so that they can win the games. They're not worried about going out there in the open and getting caught up in a bad situation. I love it. And this is just strategic gameplay by them. They want to finish this game, and Ravens just rotating shortly. This is all they have for defense. Imagine a care package being the only thing that's your defense. Not looking good for them. So that's where rotating is critical. So we'll see what happens here. Again, it's still pretty early, and I think they're trying to flank. If you can look carefully at the scenario, one player is on the side looking to try to take out one of these guys, getting some shots up. He could not finish there, and it's a smart strategy, but it looks like DIB can see it coming, and now they're just firing away, and it's going to get very difficult for Raven now. They officially have to rotate. We're going to look at DIB here, possibly with the win. They're rotating in right now. Raven, do they have anything to try to finish this off, causing chaos? Oh man, and it's looking like DIB about to get the win, and yes they do. Officially moving on into the semifinals, and congratulations to DIB. It is still early. We're gonna see them again shortly, but man, that was a good fight by Team Raven, trying to stay alive, trying to get some work done, and it was easier said than done. And you gotta respect that grind right there from what they did as far as trying to beat a team that's this good. And I love what I saw. And again, the grand finale, Raven trying to get in. Well, let's watch this replay and have Why Not and Kyle give us some breakdowns on this.
Well, you know, I feel like I've been taking the lead, so I would love to introduce Kyle to these replays, especially as a player of his caliber. So Kyle, why don't you take over?
Yeah, no, I've got to say, our Team Raven played it really well at the beginning. They nearly got the knock on the Octane, but he managed to get out. But personally, I'd have felt like Spotlight, just with how aggressive he is, if he had a G7 over that longbow, he would have put in so much damage. I feel like it'd have been a completely different game. But they played it really well. They got the bubble, they got underneath, but unfortunately, just DIB, they were just that bit more in sync. They had they were definitely a lot more up to date with the comms. They pushed up. They were always together. If one man was in, they were all in.
I also want to mention that, you know, I'm not sure exactly who's the IGL on that Raven squad, but, you know, I'm not going to put on IGL. I'm going to put on the entire team. You cannot get caught in that kind of situation where you're battling not only your opponent on one side of you, but also the hill on the other side. You need to have that recognition and be watching that timer. And as soon as that timer goes down to, you know, 30, 20 seconds, you need to formulate a plan where, hey, you know what, if things get dicey, we're going to either Wraith Portal out, or we're going to drop that Gibby bubble in front of us and rotate out of that situation. You have the entire map to your disposal. And, you know, you need to understand that, you know, where you are in the situation, be able to rotate around that hill and not fight in the middle of your opponent in front of you and the hill behind you. So hopefully they can take that as a little bit of a learning situation and say, hey, look, you know, let's make sure that even if we're not winning these 3-on-3 engagements, these 2-on-1 engagements, but at least they're putting themselves in advantageous positions where they're not fighting against the storm and talking about those early rotations that I know Mad Gamer's always. I've watched Mad Gamer commentate before. He's always on the move for those early rotations and making sure that you're in the right positioning, and that's just good fundamental Apex. And hopefully they can come back better than ever tomorrow or even next week, because I've seen RVN before, maybe not this exact iteration, but they seem to be getting better and better. And even going into round that game 2, where they lost game 1, they bounced back instantly, were able to take over that phase runner. 1 or 2 mistakes go RVN's way, and maybe they topple over Dibs and they're the ones advancing forward. So I want to see RVN tomorrow. I want to see them next week. I want to see them continue to improve. I believe it was from Coach Carter, and he said our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. So don't be afraid to scrim. Don't be afraid to point out your mistakes and look at yourself as a third person, and learn from ultimately these losses.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. They are getting better. I mean, RVN, I've been playing with them virtually since the start. Our first ever games, RVN Alpha, has always been in every match we have been in, and they have been consistent. They've been slowly gaining points. They have been getting better as they've been going. I've spoken to the IG Alpha in Discord after a couple of times as well. They are getting better and better, and they're starting to build that network of other players and just utilizing and working together better as a team.
Yes, sirree. And man, that was some great stuff. Congratulations, DIB. We are going to be moving on over to our next matchup shortly. And man, oh man, it's going to be interesting one. There's a lot of good games happening today. But we are going to 2 team names that I think is pretty interesting, and 2 teams that are brand new, coming on board for the first time, about to get the job done with what they have. Charms of Luck versus Clappy Bird. So that is the 2 teams. We've never seen them before. We're gonna see what they have as far as their actual styles and abilities. Hopefully we got some really great strats and teams here as we go forward. So we're gonna get this started very shortly. Thank you guys all for tuning in and rocking with us. Once again, just a quick pause. We're trying to keep the action flowing for you, but we're gonna pause it and give you our schedule today. After these tournament right here for arenas, which will end, let's say, in an hour or 2, pretty much an hour from now. And after this, we will have Battle Royale. So we've been doing this for a while now, and we really love that we added arenas, but the Battle Royale has been our first focus. And man, it's been exciting. There's so many incredible teams. There's always a new team or 2 that surprise us, and we get to get, you know, just amazing stuff. So you are welcome to jump on board and get involved and be a part of what we got going on. This is a movement. It's not about our specific esports organization. It's about the players, about the casters, like the guys I have today. Everybody getting showcased through this movement that we have going on. We thank EA, bunch of people I know that come and watch and email me after, a bunch of Respawn people, and overall the industry just showing love to what we got going on. I'm gonna keep bringing this to you guys, bringing exciting stuff as we go forward, and we just want to thank you. So feel free to get on board and be a part of this today as we make this move to take it to the next level shortly. And we're about to get into the next game, which is going to be interesting for me because guess what? We don't know much about these teams. I like it. It's a new era, a new day. And we're going to have 2 great commentators take over as we check this game out right now. It is game 1 between 2 brand new teams. Let's see what we got going on.
We have 2 brand new teams to the league, and just goes to show, you know, community events are the backbone of any esports, any video game. So if you guys at home, you guys say, hey, you know, maybe I'm not the best player. I may be, you know, in silver or gold or even hard locked in platinum. You know, these are open events. You're gonna have new teams like these. You're gonna have, you know, all levels of skill, and the best thing to do is to get your feet wet. I promise you, no matter who, I promise you, one of the best players in our industry is Snip3down. And I've watched him not do so great at Halo events. I literally watched him ultimately not even make it into winners bracket round 3 and get knocked out round 2. Now, obviously, he made an incredible run throughout the losers bracket, but still, even he didn't make it through winners bracket round 3 when he first started. But he got better and better and better. Ultimately, he was one of the best professional players that we had in Halo, and now he's one of the best professionals that we have here in Apex as well. So no matter who you are, all skill levels, get involved. We're on board here with Lifeline. Clearly this player has used Lifeline before, Kyle, because he has that wonderful heirloom. So clearly they're very comfortable here with Lifeline.
You never know. To be honest, it looks like he's disconnected. He just stood there and just got peppered down, and he's out. So we might have a connection problem right there. But just because they have an heirloom does not mean they main that particular character. And yeah, we've just lost the Lifeline. She's disconnected.
Well, you know what? I think since it happened in round number 1 and obviously happened in the middle of that gunfight, clearly not many players are going to stand still. I think it'd be fair to maybe call for a full reset, Mac. Allow our host to make the call for that one. But it happened round number 1, game 1. I think a full reset is in order, no matter which team ends up winning this round. If we can maybe if we gave a signal to end, if it's possible to end the game. I'm not sure if it's even possible, but yeah, a player lagged out. That's never good. But either way, like you know, I'm pretty sure Mac's probably maybe trying to get in contact with some people right now. But either way, introducing these 2 new teams. We're seeing some of the compositions right in front of our eyes of Valkyrie, Bloodhound, and Bangalore. I'm not gonna lie to you, I love the combination of Bangalore and Bloodhound being able to give out that information even through smoke. Through Bangalore smoke, Bloodhound can scan. Even Valkyrie, if he somehow uses ultimate, can get that information from up above. I like this composition. I think it's interesting. It may not be my favorite because I love introducing a Lifeline or a gimme to the scenario, but this can be a powerful composition here. Again, Bangalore, Bloodhound, and Valkyrie.
No, yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you get the stun off on the Valk, pop down your smokes and scan, it can be a nasty combo where you don't know where you are, you disorientated, and next thing you know you've got an R9 in the back. It is a very powerful combo if you can play it right, but you need to get up and you need to get personal. You can't stay back.
And now you mentioned your R99. I mean, when you're running a Bangalore as one of your main, is it worth it to max out that R99 and utilize that scanning reticle? You can even see players through the smoke. I mean, is it worth fully maxing out that R99? Is that something you would do if you had a Bangalore main?
I would like to interrupt on that and say 100,000%. I've done it a lot, fooling around with her before in Battle Royale, and then also once this mode came out. Buying like, I think her smoke is 50 materials, and I pretty much overloaded on her smokes and just dropped it all over in front of the enemies so that I can get free shots on them without them knowing where I'm at. And it was very strategic, but it's also about your team doing the same thing. So if your team, you know, after round 3, about round 3 and so on, you can all get something like that. But what it does do cripple you because you're using short range weapons for the most part, so you have to be aggressive. You can't be a team who's gonna fall back. It just depends on your play style. If you're gonna play aggressive short, it's gonna work for you. Long range, not as much. You know, you can't be with an R9 from far away, but it's very viable. And man, oh man, it's just the beginning here, but So far, so good from both teams. I like what I'm seeing. There's some comp here with Lifeline in the mix for Team Lucky, which I like. And then Valkyrie for Team Bird. I think those two right there could be game changers if you know how to use them properly, depending on the map. So we'll see how this plays out.
Well, sadly, Lifeline actually lagged out in round number 1. So you'll notice that the Lifeline went down and didn't take any damage. He actually, Lifeline ended up dying to the Storm in round 2. So right off the first engagement, Lifeline ended up lagging out. So it technically is a 2v3. I don't know if you were here through round 1, number 1, but that happened right in the beginning. Are we going to honor this this game here, or are we going to allow them to full reset it?
Yeah, we're gonna definitely do a reset, and unfortunately, you know, this is the way the cookie crumbles. We can't control the servers. Just so everybody understands, you know, some things like this, you know, we're just trying to do our best to, you know, make sure everybody's on board and getting in there as best as possible. But sometimes, you know, these things happen. And again, it's, you know, Respawn does a great job with being able to give us this game and give us these private servers in general. But, you know, these are all work in progress. And
yeah, I agree. And no matter what, competitive integrity does come first. And, you know, if it was a situation where maybe they were down 0-2 and about to be match point, and then the quote unquote lag out happens, it's a lot different than it happening in the first round, you know?
For sure. We need everybody to back off right now in that lobby, and then we're going to reset it, which is fine. Just a little quick warm up. We got to see, you know, I guess this is somewhat of a feeling out process for the players. Now they see what comp they're going to use and the way they played. If the team was over aggressive, or they're too passive, or they're playing the ring, or they're trying to rotate. You got to see a couple rounds there so the teams can benefit. And should be very, very interesting, to say the least, to see how we go from there. While we wait for that, guys, we're going to take a quick look just so everybody can understand. I want to give you guys the actual bracket so you can see what's happening here. We have DIB versus NVO happening in our second servers while we open up the new ones. Hopefully everybody can get out of the server so we can reset it. But we're looking at right now DIB going at it against NOV. We've seen what DIB can do. We've seen how good they were. We've seen them being able to put in the work, and now they're officially going at it for the semifinals against Team NVO. So Team NVO, a new team that we haven't seen in these tournaments. So let's see what they have. It's still pretty early on in this game also. So let's see.
And, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first saw you know, Watson being used in a composition with Dibs, I kind of questioned. When I think of Watson, I usually think of a slower composition, maybe combining with a Caustic or even like a Crypto. So it felt a little bit weird to me being played in arenas, but obviously it seems to work for this Dibs squad. If you don't mind, Kyle's word, obviously you're an IGL, you're a competitive player, one of the best that we have in our leagues. If you wouldn't mind maybe sharing how you would utilize a Watson player on your team, even not you necessarily, but what kind of situations you would put Watson in, and what kind of advantage does it bring to your composition?
No, it's funny enough, this season I've been playing a fair bit of Watson in ranked at the moment. We thought we'd spice things up this season, so I've put Octane down a little bit. I've been playing Watson, and you can do some spicy plays with a Watson. I've completely undervalued her for so long. I just thought she was just not that great of a champion, but I've been playing her more, and she can clutch things up really bad, especially in those end zones. If you can lock it down and you've got a Valkyrie and an Octane on your team, you guys are sound. You are happy. It's just, there's some great peace of mind to have that security with all those fences everywhere, and your ultimate going off, charging up your shields constantly. It makes any push difficult, unless if they're a crypto.
It's funny because, you know, I lots of times I will introduce a Revenant to a composition when I'm playing against a Valkyrie player, because I truly feel that Revenant hard counters a lot of characters, especially a Valkyrie main. Is there a situation where Watson's ultimate maybe hard counters a certain legend? Like, is there a legend that you want to see on the other team as a Watson main because you know that Watson can hard counter?
Oh yeah, Revenant. Watson hard counters a Rev any day. I mean, the amount of times we have been Rev pushed into a building and we've purposely sat on the fences, so as soon as they bust open the door, you move, all the fences light up. They get stuck, they get sent back. Next thing you know, as soon as they've been sent back, we're out the front door and we're octane padding on top of you before you've even recovered, and we're taking your totem from you. It's honestly, I don't think people have quite realized, you know, how hurt you can be if you run into an unexpected Watson trap.
Yeah, I think for overall, just kind of put my 2 cents into Watson. She was top tier a couple seasons ago for pro players. They were using her extensively, and rightfully so. She was perfect for comp teams. There's a difference between just playing her by yourself and playing with people who are going to help utilize her abilities and stick into the game plan. So for arenas, there's areas right now, Skulltown, the best area for Watson, where she can just dominate in those buildings, and it's going to be hard for you to get in and try to take them out and go through the struggle. So aggressive teams will suffer, just like Kyle was saying. So it's 100% a viable way to play in any comp position if your team knows what they're doing with her. And again, there's just some legends out here that are skill based when it comes to picking them, knowing how to use them properly, not just getting on with a casually, you know. So pretty interesting, and I'm can't wait for more maps like Skulltown in arenas, so that Watson, Caustic, and all the defensive players can shine as well, because we know we love offense. Always, all players love a little bit of offense, the flashiness, the excitement of pushing a team, but it's nothing like those defensive players who are very IQ based, and pretty interesting stuff. Speaking of interesting stuff, we're gonna go ahead and step out of this DIB versus NVO, and we're gonna go to the official matchup that we have going on, and it's pretty much a full reset to the first game. So you're gonna get game 1 from Charm of Luck versus Clappy Bird. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 names that you can't make up. So it's pretty much starting over, redo, and it's looking good right now as we go into game 1. Let's check out Team Lucky here.
And we're gonna find out if Clappy Bird can get some easy claps, or if Luck can beat skill, because Charm of Luck obviously have it on their side. The P20 being rocked out by this lifeline, but also has a frag grenade and ripping shots with a P20, putting out maximum damage. Actually gonna slide into that player's DMs. One player gonna get knocked right off the bat, and Bangalore goes down. And hold on 1 second. I blinked for 2 seconds, Kyle, and the round was over. I don't know what the heck just happened. I literally blinked for 2 seconds, and my gosh, Charm of Luck simply ran over Clappy Bird.
Yeah, no, I had a little suspicion that something like that might happen. They were doing really well as a 2v3, and they were dealing that damage. Unfortunately, the lifeline did disconnect, so as a 2v3, they did really well. I think that lifeline was just that little balance that they needed to just absolutely run down center, a League of Legends running it down mid and just absolutely destroying them. That was just way too fast, and they definitely seem to have the confidence now that their lifeline is back, and they are just not letting up.
And here talking about letting up, second round starts off. We're gonna stick with them and see what they have with their aggression and their play style. I'm really liking this actual cast team here right now. Nice little trio here we got going on. We gotta have at least one UK accent. It's not right if we don't have somebody representing. And then of course we got, which is Cowsworth. Thank you for coming. And then we have Why Not, also, who's putting in the work, becoming a caster full time, and hopefully, you know, he can get to do exactly what he wants with his dreams and goals. And I'm excited to just have you guys. So thank you very much. And look at this. They're taking it easy, holding the position comfortably, relaxing while they're looting up this care package. That says a lot about their confidence, being able to just come on over in the middle of a fight, relaxing and getting in. And I think this is important for the long run, because you want to have that confidence even when you play against top teams. They won't expect you to be this aggressive and this actually just nonchalant about moving around.
And I can already,
yeah.
I can already tell that this Lifeline player is a mouse and keyboard player, because the movement is absolutely insane. And when he was looting that care package, he was able to move around where I'm not able to do that as a controller player. This Lifeline, but he has the movement. I'm liking the way Sinless and this Charm of Luck squad is playing. How do you feel about them, Kyle?
Honestly, yeah, I think you'll be shocked, but the Lifeline player is not a mouse and keyboard. Lifeline is on the Xbox. The only mouse and keyboard player in the lobby, possibly, is the Bangalore is the only one on PC.
Oh.
Yeah, we can see the
Everybody is
icons on the
actually
left
controller.
of their names.
Yep.
You can see exactly where they're playing.
I apologize. The way he was moving, let me tell you, this Lifeline got some crazy controller movement. If you're able to move like that, I have a lot to learn. Clearly, my gosh.
Yeah, I think overall, I mean, just some people practice different things. Maybe your aim is better. Maybe you know, some people looting fast, and there's just things that we all focus on that we care about more. And that right there, I mean, just good stuff right now so far. It's looking like Lucky is not so lucky, because, you know, I don't believe in that they got lucky. I mean, you have to put in the work to get the opportunity for the chance of some sort of luck to exist. So, you know, these guys calling themselves luck, we'll see. I think this is more like hard work. And we're going to check out Clappy here, see what they have. I like the fact that they got a Revenant. That means they want to get aggressive. This is a very aggressive comp if you see Bloodhound, Revenant, and Bangalore. I think that's very interesting. Imagine you throw smoke, you revolt, and you just punch people to death. That would be that would be the fun play style. I mean, you know, the challenge to smoke out and punch.
No, I definitely hope we get to see something like that, but this round the Revenant has chosen to max out his G7 over getting a totem.
Right, and you got to put it to good use, and that's where it's important if you're playing, you know, whatever type of, this is something that I really love, and we can just kind of point it out while the match happens here. Talk about the game mode that they set up here. They could have easily tried to just put in silly regular deathmatch, but this has, I have to purchase my skills, I have to purchase my upgrades on my weapons. Do I really need a full legendary clip on my gun, or can I go with a blue? You know, so for me, I like blue. I think blue is a good middle ground depending on some of the weapons. You know, if you can't one clip somebody with a blue, I don't know, man. Got to get some work done. But good stuff right now. They're using all of their utilities here. It's looking like they use the ultimate and it's not working because they're under, but they did make the team uncomfortable right now. And Clappy's trying to get in on this action and just suppressing them from the rooftop. And they used a lot and didn't get a lot out of it. So pretty much lost a player while Lucky still has all of their teammates. And I think, you know, you could say Lucky continues to showcase that they have what it takes, and it's not all luck. Sometimes it's skill and hard work. And look at this. As I say it, they take down 2 players. Now, about to finish this off, getting very aggressive, deciding to push the pace. And there it is right there. Team Lucky winning in amazing fashion, to say the least here. Tell me that wasn't something special from those guys.
No,
I mean,
definitely. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was impressive. I mean, Mad Gamer, you've been running this for quite some time, and that probably might be one of the fastest rounds of arenas that we've seen.
Definitely was the way they just, you saw right here. This is where I was explaining is Clappy used up their ultimate. They used up a lot of their tacticals, and when you use up all your utility, you're saying you're gonna win the round. It's like, oh, we got this in the bag. Let's push them. Let's do whatever we came to do, and get the job done. But doing so, I thought they were going to make a move, thought something was going to happen here. Instead, one of their players go down, and this is where they're in the disadvantage. And the other team, of course, sees that. And now they say, hey, guys, let's start pushing up. We got the advantage here, and let's take over. And, of course, we don't have the comms right now, but, of course, for the majors, we'll have comms for all the players, and we'll listen into them and things like that. But at the moment, as you see, just smart play, exactly what I'm describing, is where they said, let's push this. They clean up shop, and that was all because it wasn't Lucky doing anything. It was Lucky waiting for Team Bird to make a decision, and Team Bird wasted all their ultimates and gave up everything there and lost the first game. And again, it's just one game. We are still very early, and there's still a lot of games to go. But it was great stuff by Team Lucky. I like what I saw from them. What do you got to input on this first game, guys?
I've definitely got to agree. When they got the lifeline back and reconnected, they've just been all together straight away. But I'm looking, I can't see any names on Team 2. I don't know if Team Clappy's disconnected or something.
I was actually just noticing that. I mean, it might have that was a pretty dominant performance by Charm of Luck, and I'm hoping we're not seeing Clappy Bird forfeit. Maybe they just wanted to refresh their server or something. But I'm hoping that they ultimately come back in and play their game 2 and game 3. Maybe they didn't know the rules, because I know that they are fairly new to the situation. As Mad Gamer has mentioned multiple times, this is a match point system. So ultimately, if now Luck, Charm of Luck had the opportunity to put 2 more wins on the board and 3-0, but if somehow Clappy Bird are able to put in 1 win and force a second one and win a 2-2 situation, they'll have to ultimately win by 2, either team. So maybe they didn't know, but now we're starting to see them come back in. We have Clappy Goose in here, Dirty Dono, and here comes Cozy Word. We're going to be going into ultimately to that game number 2, and we're switching over to Phase Runner is going to be the map.
Yes, we are. It's going to be a good one. As we get the team set up and they rename themselves and everything, we're going to take a quick look. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, DIB is in a fight. All right, they're going head to head, and it's not over. And it's getting very interesting because it's going back and forth on their first game, and now they're on to another one. So it's still very early on, and I'm liking what I'm seeing by this new team that we don't know nothing about. We'll take a look. NVO still out here putting in the work with a nice comp. Again, Valkyrie, my favorite legend right now overall, with some new abilities, changing the game drastically and being able to do some good stuff. And they both teams have Valkyries here, and it's looking real good for NVO so far.
I would definitely say that Valkyrie is a meta-defining legend. Her abilities are obviously powerful. She does a whole lot, and I would even argue that maybe her versatility might even rival that of a Gibby. What are some of the things that you've noticed from Valkyrie mains, Cowsworth? As obviously, again, you are a top player and have run into probably some of the best Valkyrie players in our circuit.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of my ranked partners and the guys that I run with in the comp as well, when we're in Mags tournaments, Tio is a Valkyrie main running for like the top 10 Valk spot at the minute for kills, and you just have some disgusting movement where you can quite easily 1v3 a complete team on your own in a massive complex building. It's just, there's so much mobility and just versatility with what comes with a kit. It's very hard. The only person that a Valk does not beat one-on-one in an even 50-50 is a Gibby, but everybody knows the Gibby is the king of 1v1s.
Yeah,
know
I
that
agree with
Gib-
that, but don't sleep on my Valkyrie, man. I mean, she's going to take over in a lot of ways. We saw her in the ALGS being used instead of a Bloodhound. That way they can use her for scouting as far as the beacons, and as well her ability to rotate. And then, you know, one thing that I like to do with her is actually juke. I pretty much use her not to fly straight up or anything like that. I just want to juke a little left, get out of cover, get into cover after I'm fighting somebody, and just reload or heal up or something. So her flying isn't just to go up. You know, for me, I use it as a dodge very often, and it's just a fun way to play. There's a lot of mobility with her, more so than almost any legend when it comes to that. I think Octane's jump pad, which is every 90 seconds, with her you can have whenever you feel on demand, up, down, left, right mobility that I really like. And it can get very interesting when you're caught up somewhere like in the capital right now. When you're in these matches, can really be an exciting thing to see if you know how to play with her. So speaking of play with her, we're gonna go ahead and play this live feed into game 2 right now. We just seen what happened in game 1, and man, oh man, it was a good one, but it's still pretty early. And let's check out Team Lucky and also Team Bird. And we're going to take a look at Team Bird. They are already in the ring, and I like what they're doing here. Both teams are pushing to the center of the ring, trying to control it. And I like Bird being the first ones in there, trying to get in on this action. And they're getting hit pretty hard. One player already down. And Team Lucky, not so lucky, showing skill more so than luck. And right now doing a good job to suppress Team Bird so far.
And it's looking like Team Bird elected to change their composition a little bit, as opposed to running the Bloodhound. They've actually swapped out that Bloodhound for the Pathfinder. However, Clappy Goose, that Pathfinder main, was the first player ultimately to go down in Bangalore. Gonna be taking heavy damage on the other side, and he's losing all of his shields and once again half of his health. He's gonna try to sell up here, but Lifeline making it very hard. P20 on deck, blued out at the moment, even has the 2x lifeline. Really good for just again, not only reviving those teammates, but also utilizing that drone, which I'm sure we're probably going to see introduced here, as Bloodhound is currently one shot, and never mind, don't even need the drone. Lifeline hunts that player down, and he's going to go in. And once again, Charm of Luck dominating in the first round. We're going to see if they can ride this momentum out throughout the rest of this game, and ultimately even possibly this series.
Yeah, right now we're moving into the next game round, and it's still very early. I will say Lucky's looking extremely skilled and confident, and a combination of confidence and skill together is very dangerous, because it pretty much means you put in the work to be good, and then you have the confidence in that, and that takes a lot of time and dedication to have both synergizing, and it looks like they're synergizing well right now. And interesting enough, the match starts off, and we're going to kick it off right here as we go. It's looking really good for Team Lucky, pushing up and being very aggressive off the bat, taking one player down, and it's still anyone's game, as you see right now. No, it isn't, man. Oh man, wow. Another round for Team Lucky.
You know, they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And as of right now, Charm of Luck is taking advantage of every opportunity that is handed to him. They have now gone 2-0 in rounds as far as this game number 2 up against Clappy Bird, who clearly, I mean, they've earned their spot here. I like the way Clappy Bird is playing. I love the adjustments that they're trying to make, but it seems like they're just outmatched when it comes to this firepower. Kylesworth, what are some of the things that you're seeing from Charm of Luck that are making them look so dominant here in this game?
Yeah, these guys definitely have the synergy down. It's like these guys run with. It's like these three just stack up all the time. They seem to know each other. They know what they're doing. As soon as one's in on the fight, the Octane's sliding in right next to him, or the Bloodhounds just pops up over a wall. They've got really great synergy. They are working phenomenally as a team. Like it looks like they look like they'd even make me work a bit in a ranked match. You know, it's these guys are just flawless at the moment.
And Mag, I mean, you've been running these tournaments for quite some time, and an excellent host. I mean, out of some of the top teams that you've seen throughout every tournament, how does Charm of Luck look like they stack up against some of the best of the best? I mean, this is the first time we're seeing them, and they're looking great.
Yes, they are. And what I would love is the jump in and listen in so that people can understand the communication with your teammates, that synergy of working together, figuring some things out, small little details that you can see that they're doing without hearing them specifically. But I kind of, every time I watch these teams play, I imagine their comms. Hey, I'm gonna push or fall back, give me cover, hey, this and that, and you can just tell what is they're thinking just from their movement and their play style and their ability. And right now, you know, Lucky just plays with each other often. You can see that they have the synergy when it comes to that, and they're just being really, really, really careful about things. And as it's looking real good, you see two players together pushing while their Lifeline is in the background. Lifeline should never be in the front line, and she's doing a good job cleaning up shop for them as they are the aggressors, and her job is to help support. And great stuff by her. The perfect type of Lifeline play right here. Never in the front line, always reviving your teammates, helping out as she revives another player. And look at that, Lucky taking game to so fast. It's lightning speed. Amazing stuff by these guys. These guys are scary, and I think it's gonna show because they might be making it into the finals. Right now they're playing for the finals, and they're already 2 games in. If you guys want to take a moment here, I'm going to give you guys the floor to break down what we just saw, and just give me your thoughts and opinions on everything so far with these guys.
I mean, as Cowsworth alluded to before, just an advanced understanding of not only the game, but what they want to accomplish as a team. And it just seems to be all about that execution. I mean, even right here, you see Lifeline end up getting silenced. So not going to have that drone. I don't think he even had a care package at that point, but not going to have that to his ability, but still advancing forward behind enemy lines. Finishes that first player. Now it's in a 3v2 situation, and it's all about playing numbers. It doesn't matter. Bloodhound can even give up his life right here as he's taking that early damage, which he ends up doing, but he puts that maximum damage down. Lifeline slides in to get the finish, and then it's once again playing the numbers. 2v1 situation. Lifeline comes in, puts down the damage. Moon walks over towards that heal, and just perfect execution coming out of that team. And it wasn't even just that round. It's been this entire series that we've been seeing so far. You know, I love what we've seen out of Dibs, and I've seen them before. I think they play excellent. This is a great team, but they didn't look as organized or as this Charm of Luck squad. This Charm of Luck squad is looking dominant. And honestly, out of all the teams that I've seen personally, it looks like they might be the best team that we have in our circuit. Cosworth, I apologize. I haven't seen your team just yet, but from what we've seen so far, Charm of Luck look to be the cream of the crop and might be poised to take this entire tournament as we're going into game number 3 up against Clappy Bird.
No, yeah, I completely agree. Team Luck are definitely they're definitely synergizing. They work well together. These guys are definitely. They rock with top tier players. Like this is a flat out Masters team if I've ever seen one, for a fact. You know, I won't be surprised if personally my team ourselves have ran into these guys during a ranked game at some point, or then so these guys, they're just on point. They're right together. I'd love to hear what these guys' comms are going on right now, but no, yeah, these look like they know what they're doing. But we've had it before. Even if they look like they're going to win it all and they're on top of it, they can drop off. We've had it before with the NA World Champions Team Omu's team. Well, the first 2 games in a previous one, and then they struggled and struggled for the next 3 games to actually close it out. So they might have momentum now, but they might just drop off later on as the night goes on.
Yeah, that is true, and it's interesting. We're gonna go into game 3 very shortly, but man, it is interesting because you get us off to a hot start, and then you do one bad play, something goes wrong, and then your team synergy falls apart. It's something I like talking about a lot because the team synergy is important. You have your in-game leader, and it sounds like just some cliche stuff like in-game leader. Oh man, that's cringe. But really, without an in-game leader, if your team doesn't synergize properly, you can lose a lot because nobody's together, somebody gets hit by themselves, things just start falling apart shortly instead of having that game plan and that leadership role to move forward. And right now we're seeing it from Luck, but again, one good game by Team Bird, it can bring them back and get them into the fight. So pretty interesting. We'll see what could happen. And before we continue, I just want to talk about the schedule, give you guys a quick look at what we got going on. Again, it is still early when it comes to signing up for tomorrow. We have tournaments, but also next week we have many more. So get involved ASAP. And speaking about ASAP, let's go into officially game 3, starting off right now. Rock out with us. Let's get it. And right now, Team Luck, we're going to keep an eye on these guys because they've been performing very well and they have a chance to finish this game off. And look at how aggressive they're being. And again, like I said, this can cost them. Overly aggressive can really cost them big time. So we'll see what they can do here. I like the aggression, though. It's going to help a lot. It looks like Lifeline's trying to do her thing to keep the team alive. It's not working out in her favor. They're punching her to death. That is ridiculous. First game slaughter, and this is amazing. This is what you want to see if you're a fan of greatness. Sometimes we see top teams in the world, you know, these dynasties that win a lot of championships in sports, and we tend to be like, I'm tired of them winning, I want my team or someone else to win. But at the same time, you got to respect greatness. Whenever it's a Tom Brady or whatever dynasty you've seen in the past that you thought, man, they keep winning, this is too much, you got to respect the greatness. So I'm gonna let Why Not and Cosworth run this next game down and see what they got to say and how they break this amazing performance by Luck.
And this is actually going to be the 3rd iteration that we're seeing out of Clappy Birds. This time, introducing a Lifeline to the situation. They've seen how good Lifeline can play over on the Luck squad, and now we're starting to see if they introduce it themselves. And we saw a heal come out of this squad before, but it didn't really end up doing much because they still ended up going down. But either way, R99 going to be in the hands of Lifeline, Pathfinder, and Gibby to join.
Oh yeah, it's a good learning experience for Clappy Birds, but I'm gonna have to say I'm calling it right here. It's gonna be over for them. It seems like the Gibby has actually rage quit. He's gone, so they're actually a 2v3 this round, unfortunately. Yeah. But you can definitely see after the first game they were quite relaxed, Clappy Birds, but now after they've realised the caliber that they're playing at, they're a lot faster and they're starting to take those trades a bit more, and they are pumping out some damage. It's just unfortunate that the Gibby's not there anymore, but they're definitely learning, and they're starting to put in that damage and anticipate where they're going to be.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if it was ultimately a rage quit, or maybe possibly it might have been a lag out that happened in the first round. It has been known to happen across all of these sports, across any game. So I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'll wait. I know Mad Gamer's probably already working behind the scenes to try to find out exactly what happened, and hopefully we'll have some kind of resolution for the situation. By the way, we're looking at Pathfinder, which is going to be Clappy Goose, and Dirty Dono, which is going to be Lifeline, and Clappy Goose utilizing that Pathfinder movement. I'll tell you, Pathfinder has some of the most insane movement that I've seen, not only in the Apex, but in any game. You can get really creative with Pathfinder, and it's definitely not a legend that you can just try out for a tournament and see what happens. You have to truly understand how Pathfinder interacts with almost every surface to be able to take advantage of that advanced mobility that you get. And Clappy Goose clearly knows what he's doing with them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Speaking of Pathfinder, you just said my name out loud. That's my middle name, because Pathfinder is my favorite of all time, and he's my only main I've ever mained. Other than him, I pretty much just run around and fool around with every legend just to enjoy the game variety. It's basically like playing a whole different game when you play Lifeline or different characters. So really love that freedom that Apex offers. But man, Pathfinder is incredible. But what's more incredible right now is the fact that Lucky is pretty much about to finish this and move into the finals officially with this action-packed setup right here right now. Clappy's trying to survive the situation. It's 2-on-3, but man, oh man, just complete domination. You can tell it's looking pretty easy, and as I say so, there it is, the grand finale for Team Lucky, just dominating and showcasing true skill. And this is what we want to see when we get into the finals, and we'll say, okay, let's see if it's real. And we're gonna find out if it's real, because yeah, they got away with that and they put in the work necessary, but it's easier said than done. And now they're gonna be having to continue their fight as they go forward. Let's take a quick look at this finale here as they go. Sitting very comfortable up top, but they're hurting with one player down. Bird, let's see what you're looking at here, Kyle.
Yeah, I've got to say, Bird, they played it really well. They were holding the high ground the best they could, and they were trading out the damage. They definitely adjusted to the difference in level that they were up against, and they started. Honestly, if you gave them more time, if this wasn't a tournament and they could have kept on going and going and going, they'd have slowly just started going beyond that cap of themselves. And ultimately, these are the type of the fights that you want to be striving to have anyway, to become a better player in this type of game. But they played it really well. They had a shaky start at the beginning when all three of them came in. But as you can see, as the games progressed, they just held their own, and I'm quite happy with what they. Even if they lost, I'm quite happy with what they accomplished. They held their own, and they dealt the damage.
For sure. And man, you know, respect to both teams. Thank you guys for coming. And it's all about improving and getting better when you're playing esports. You might not get the win, but you can always learn and, you know, use that experience as motivation. If you ever take a loss and not happy with it, that's a perfect time to get your mind right, grow as a person, and say, you know what, I'm going to be better and I'm going to do better. And that's pretty much what we saw from a lot of these teams in the past for our battle royale. They came in, didn't do so hot, and all of a sudden they come back and win it all. It's extremely interesting. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let you see this schedule. We're gonna take a quick second, go get yourself some water, get something to drink, look at the schedule, come into our Discord, sign up for the events. They are free for everybody, qualifiers, so you can get yourself into the majors. And we're going to be right back after these messages.
Obviously, Team Zero Dep have a lot of firepower. If they can take a round off a Charm of Luck, we saw how dominant they were in that first series. But now it looks like they're being tested at this point against Zero Dep. Kyle, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that first round they played it really well. Luck identified that the Gibby was on his own. They pushed it, but I think since they started out so cheap with just P20s and Mozambiques, that they just got outgunned. They just could not keep up with that fight. Oh no. Team Luck have lost their octane.
Yeah, it looks like the Octane player is actually, yeah, it looks like he might have disconnected right there. It was tied up at one apiece for both of these squads, but now obviously Zero Dep gonna have a big advantage here. It's pretty much a 3v2. Well, it looks like we're on board here with our Lifeline player, rocking the R301. It is upgraded to a blue status. has a 2x bruiser on at the moment, and even has a couple of batteries as well. Gonna have to pop a cell because he is gonna be taking early damage, and it's gonna be Bloodhound and Lifeline versus the entire enemy team, and it looks like heavy damage being put down. Lifeline being forced to back down, drop the drone, and they're getting extremely aggressive. Gibby putting the damage down, and I believe Lifeline is gonna end up going down.
No, yeah, no. No, yeah, I agree with the battle royale. If someone disconnects, that's unfortunate, but you can still win. You know, if you get a good time third party, where with the arenas it's a straight 3v3. You know, so if you lose a man in that, there's no third party, there's no outplay potential that you can do. It's you just clear up at a straight disadvantage.
Definitely. Yeah, we got to look into how do we fix these issues. On our side, we can't control that happens, but we can try to figure out rules and regulations on how to redo it. You know, Zero there were they won that game, if I'm not correct, you know, if I'm correct, but the disconnect issue is tough. It's a tough conversation to figure out live on stream. What I've told players before that, you know, going into these, that if it's early enough, we can reset and get it going. Yeah, last game, what do you guys think? Should we give them that one round? I mean, it was the score was 2-1.
No, it was tied. It was tied up one apiece when the Octane ultimately he lagged out in the middle of round 3.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's tied up at one apiece, I don't mind just doing a full reset. I mean, it's not like one team had an advantage over the other. Where if it was like 2-1, I would say maybe try to recreate the scenario, or even just run off of of subtraction. But it was tied up at one apiece. I think a full reset would probably be the most fair.
Yeah, we're gonna do a reset, but if a player lags out, I mean, we can't control the lobby's servers. You know, that's Respawn's whole movement.
Yeah.
So
I feel like, you know, Apex, that's just how it runs. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, there's not much that we can do. You know, I know we got to make it fair, but at the same time, there's some, you know, only so much we can do.
yeah.
Sorry,
So-
that's ending.
See the one you envy, by the way, guys. Haven't heard her commentate all day, but she's basically the backbone doing the second side of games, monitoring them, and she's giving her side, her view on this situation. And I'm gonna inform the players, and we're going to get this reset going pretty much right now and see where we go from there. I'm sure the players are not gonna like that, but again, we're trying to be fair for everybody and hope for the best in this situation. So bear with us. Give us about 2 minutes. It's not going to take long. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and I hope your patience will be worth it because we're starting this whole match over, and we're not going to be doing this a lot because we understand that the technical difficulties and so on happen with the servers, but we giving everybody a fair shake, and here we are shaking it down, breaking it down, and getting back into the flow. We want to just give players the best possible esports experience they can. And while we can't control the servers, we can try to control our situation. They were kind enough to get this back to where it was. It's a 1-1 start, and we have the match here, game 1, beginning right now with Team Luck throwing all the grenades. Dang, how did they get all that money? And let's see what's going down. We got Why Not and the one and only Cowsworth both commentating here, doing a great job so far, and I'm lucky to have them. And man, it is just the beginning here. Game 1, a series that could get very interesting because I think both teams got some fire.
That they do, and I'm actually on board with the Lifeline player coming out of Charm of Luck, who has thrown some excellent grenades, but also is taking some heavy damage of his own. Has a almost fully kitted out flatline shot starting to ring out, but no damage just yet. Octane getting some heavy damage, loses all of his shields, but even Bloodhound gonna lose all of his shields and half of his health, but luckily no knocks just yet.
No knocks just yet. It's just a start, Kyle. What do you see here? You know, your 1-1 game, I mean, round 3 in game 1. What is your point of view when you want to try to get aggressive here? We're looking at Team Zero as you speak.
Yeah, personally, in this situation, I've been looking to take out the Lifeline because there's nothing more annoying in this, especially for how cheap the gold backpack is. There's nothing more annoying than a Lifeline that keeps on resin and resin and resin, even after all the meds have been used up.
I'll be honest with you, that's exactly why I main Lifeline when it comes to arena settings. It is so hard to keep track of the numbers, as Gibby gonna be taking some heavy damage here for 0 death. So was Octane. Octane actually already one shot on board here with the Lifeline player, rocking the wingman in one hand and the shoddy in the back pocket. Even has a few batteries, so he's ready for some battle. And just like that, Charm of Lux Octane is gonna go down. The Lifeline trying to go in for the rest, but Lifeline gonna go down as well. So Bloodhound gonna be left by himself in a 1v3 situation. He's battling against the elements.
Yeah, that was really well played for the first round there. They got the solid hits on. Lifeline, like I said, tried to come in for that res, but they just collapsed right on top of her and would not letting that happen.
And right now we have Why Not's mic muted, but he's getting ready to drop some knowledge on what he feels for this next round and how things are going to work out. For me personally, you know, I like Lifeline on my team just like everybody else. She's like one of those Revenant players. Like, Revenant is a guy that if you have on your team, you love it. If he's against you, you're like, oh, hell nah. You know, you're getting worried about that death totem, and Lifeline's the same way. And exactly what Kyle said is something I would do. I always tell my teammates, hey, finish him, finish him, finish him. If there's a Lifeline, or finish her first. If we can find her, we'll take her out. But if we have someone down, make sure you thirst them as quick as possible, just so that she can't get a chance to get that revive off. And sometimes I've baited Lifeline and pretty much allowed someone to be lurking around to see where they're headed, so I can see where they're going with their teammates. And speaking of that, oh my goodness, man, today has been technical after technical. So Respawn resets the servers, and we just got reset, literally. And there's not much I can do to control that. We're gonna go ahead and take a little quick second to get everybody back in place once again. Unbelievable. And figure this out as we go forward. Again, apologies to everybody watching. This arenas tournaments have run smooth the past 2 weeks, but right now they have some technical difficulties, whether it's the players situations and then now the server deciding to reset. But it's okay because we can show you our schedules. We can tell you that there's an actual battle royale, the stuff that you've been seeing for over a month and a half now, that you know and love. Right now we're going to see it coming up also. So at the same time, while this is happening, we're opening up the server for everybody, and it's gonna be interesting. Of course, you know, you don't know.
Are we leaving this? I've been jumped in as a player.
Yes, back out of there. So you don't know what's gonna happen with the arenas or the battle royale, but right now I'm excited about the battle royale because there's a lot of great teams we know and love, and that's coming up shortly. It's literally right after these arenas. If we ever get to finish these arenas, I think these arenas will last a lifetime, by the way things are working out at the moment. Unfortunately, it's not looking good for these arena, and we're in the semifinals for these teams, and the finalist is waiting for this team to finish their games, and we can't even get one game under. But we'll figure it out. We don't want to talk about it too much. We want to focus on the positives. We're opening up the lobby for the actual battle royales as we speak also. So there's multiple lobbies that are happening. Me and my management partner, See the One You Envy, taking care of business and getting that rolling while we work on these arena issues. So we need everybody that's in the actual lobby to get out of the lobby, and then we'll go forward. And we're going to take an intermission again. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and it is happening. Finally, we're in the finals. A bunch of craziness has happened today for Arenas, and it's interesting enough as a manager hosting and doing all the different things at the same time. You know, customer service, like I'm literally everywhere at once, and I got to be thankful for Cowsworth and Why Not killing it today on the commentary. And man, we're going into game one officially right now in the finals for the title. And again, these are just community events, but they're also qualifiers where all of these teams get a chance to get themselves into the majors. And we're about to see two teams try to figure it out and get themselves deeper involved with the arena scene. So pretty interesting stuff when it comes to overall new teams that we haven't seen before, or we hardly got to see NVO do some work. They were on the second server with my manager, See the One You Envy, hosting that server while we were broadcasting games from DIB and games from Lucky and so on. So I mean, now we get a chance to see these guys in full action, which I really like. And we're going into it very shortly. Let me give you guys a quick look at our bracket before we go into it. So this is how it all played out. DIB advanced with NVO. NVO took them out, which is surprising. That means that they're actually really good. And then Team Zero Def moves on to the finals as well. And that's what you got right now. The official finals is happening for you guys to enjoy. And we're going to see it underway. If you want to look at the bracket, it's pretty much over with now. We're in the finals. But go right ahead to corebattleleague.com. And ladies and gentlemen, kicking off the right way. Game one. Team Zero versus Team NVO. Funny enough, NV's our scoreboard manager, and she helps run things with these servers with me. And man, they're going to be coming in hot. We're going to see what they have. For them to take out DIB, the team that we saw was very impressive in the first round. That was pretty cool. And we didn't get to watch a lot of it. We went into those matches in between our matches just to give you guys something to look at. But we'll see how this plays out. Right now, Zero doing their job, just holding the fort. And it doesn't look like NVO is doing anything. They're standing back. It's kind of a weird setup. And I'm not sure what the idea here is.
Yeah, I've just seen it's on the Discord now. The Octane on NVO has got no HUD at all. He can't play the game, he can't see anything.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't lie to you. This has been the trolliest day when it comes to these scenarios. And I'm not sure what we're supposed to do here. We're going to reset again, but I don't want to leave because for some reason the servers go haywire if I leave. So I need all the players and everybody that's hosting with me to back out first. So,
all right, I can back out then.
So anyways, so everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. Apologies for all of this, but we're doing real good. The second tournament is starting now. Literally, the lobby's open. I don't want to showcase that too much here because there's no action there and it's just the lobby. But if you take a look, there it is. The players are jumping on in. This is for the Battle Royale. This is not arenas. This is Battle Royale specifically. And you gotta love it. So anyway, as I was stating, everybody on stream, yeah, so this lobby's opening up very shortly right now when it comes to all the teams and players. They're about to get in. So pretty interesting stuff right there. You know, I love the battle royale scene. You know, the Apex has the best battle royale scene. It's gonna get crazy. I get excited for it. It's a whole different feel than arenas. Arenas is that one-on-one aspect, and these teams are just incredible. And I got a long list of great teams that have been making their names known in the scene, and we're gonna keep it pushing as we go forward. So rock out and enjoy as we go forward. Once again, I'm taking my time here. We have to get these guys all back to normal in a minute. So thank y'all for tuning in, sticking with me, man, sticking with me during all of these technical difficulties, which I don't want to go crazy on, but you know, in the past week and a half since the new update, there has been some errors and situations for Apex, which is rare. In my opinion, Apex hasn't been one of those games filled with endless bugs like a lot of games do. They've been really good being able to stay on top of most of them. These past 2 weeks been a little bit rough. For players. But we'll figure it out, right? We will get it right. So now we're waiting for these teams and our co-hosts to get into the lobby so that we can move forward and get it right for this finals. Looking good. Yes, sir. We got Why Not and Cowsworth still fighting a good fight right now with me as my co-host. And you know, we're gonna have to like put some entertainment, and don't worry, the majors are gonna have a lot of cool videos and a little bit of extra fun stuff right now. This is the community portion of these events, and they could pick up steam as they go into the majors, and then when the championships, of course, will be at full throttle. And man, talk about full throttle, it's about time, man. We're gonna get started very shortly, and I'm just excited the game is starting. It's not even that anything happened. Now I'm just excited. Come on, man, come on. So big respect to the players taking their time, being patient. Also, we don't control the servers, they don't control the servers. It's not their fault these type of issues are happening, and you know, we do the best that we can. And as far as my casters as well, being professional, holding it down and going forward. But it's a good time to plug in everything and discuss the future. As you can see, the schedule every day, I mean every week, we'll have multiple events. So get into our Discord, see the schedule, and get yourself in on the action. So that being said, we're gonna kind of step back here and get this game going officially. It's gonna be game one between the two teams we didn't see a lot of. We've seen NVO compete a bit, do some work when they were playing against DIB for a little while in between matches. We saw them, and then Zero, we saw quick gameplay. So really interesting to finally get a full look at both teams who made it through and about to compete for the championship. So winner takes all when it comes to advancing. So let's see who got what it takes. Passing it over to Kyle and Why Not. What you guys see here?
Yeah, looks like we're going to be starting on board here with a Gibby rocking the vault right now, but his Octane playing going to be taking all of the damage, losing all of his shields and most of his health, ending up one shot. Luckily, that Gibby player having the awareness to drop his bubble, so his Octane can go in there, maybe get some heals off, because he did end up supplying up. On his left side there's an opposing Gibby, so it's Gibby on Gibby crime. I wonder who's gonna come out on top, and Octane gonna be that first player to go down. Zero Depths are winning the numbers battle. It's a 3v2. Gibby gonna be dropping down, putting down that damage, and it looks like that player's gonna go down as well. 2 players go down for Zero Depth. Oh, there it is. God bless. And that's going to be an amazing start to round number 1. It was almost so fast I could barely keep up with that one, but that's usually how round 1 is. You don't really have enough materials to really purchase all the resources that you want. You know, you want those extra batteries, you want those extra cells, you even want obviously a decent weapon with a good upgrade, but you don't get enough enough allotted to you for you to do that in round number 1. As round 2, 3, and ultimately 4 and 5 start to come out, we start to see these players become fully kitted with all the resources, upgraded guns, and sometimes even fully upgraded, you know, maxed out on cells and batteries, even sometimes having some med kits. And don't forget about those explosives.
I think Colworth's not with us anymore, so it's just me and you. Why not? And looking good right now for Team Zero. Well, actually, it's a 2-on-2 right now, and it's about to go down with this wingman. I'm loving the wingman action, guys. One of my favorite guns of all time in Apex, and good stuff right here for round 2. And it's not over to the, you know, Sings, and still pretty interesting. What are you looking at? What are you seeing so far? Why not from all of these players?
Well, I'll be honest. I actually didn't get the chance to see round 2, but I mean, round 1 was interesting. Both of these teams wanted to get in each other's fates. They wanted to up the tempo, and I'm excited about this finals because, you know, when I cast it 2 weeks ago, there were 2 very different teams in our finals. What we're looking at now, I've seen a little bit of Zero Depth. I actually have not got the chance to see NVO, but obviously they both come with no lack of firepower. They obviously understand the meta because their compositions are similar and very powerful, rocking that lifeline, rocking that Gibby, and even having the Bloodhound for that information. And on NVO side, you have the same thing, except instead of having that lifeline, you have an Octane who's willing to up the tempo at any given point. So both of these teams clearly understand the meta, and obviously they can shoot their guns.
Yeah, I mean, shooting the guns is the biggest part of the game, but it's not the only part. There's so many different aspects and importance in these games, and you got to be very smart about how you move and your positioning when you move. Very critical overall. And so far, so good. This action is packed and it's looking real hot and heavy. Trying to get these finishes here. I like the Gibby bubble drop. It was a good timing, and they did get a lot of damage and a down right off of that grenade. And it's going to be an interesting finish here with a one-on-one in the moment. They're trying to get aggressive and not allow the person to heal up. Oh, man, it's a dangerous, slippery slope. And it's looking like right now, Zero might have the advantage. They have a lot more health, and there it is. Team Zero taking game 1 just to start things off proper. You got to respect it. That was a really good overall from them. We're going to take a quick look at that and see how they played that wingman action. Again, decent, but wasn't the factor. What are you seeing here? Why not?
I mean, that beautiful slide. So the movement that he was able to create when he slides off of that platform, able to keep most of his health while even firing off a couple of wingman shots, comes in on the weak side flank right behind enemy lines and puts the damage down. That's just a beautiful collapse coming in by Zero Depth. Ultimately, Gibby did end up going down, but I like the thought process there. And then eventually shots ring out some more. I think NVO played absolutely incredible, but when it became a 1v1 situation. That's that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite engagements. When it comes 1v1 in arenas, it's about who wants it more. It's about who has that skill level. If I'm put in that situation, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm freezing up. My hands aren't moving exactly the same. But these guys, these are top-notch players. The shots ringing out with that Volt fully kitted. And look at this. Look at this. He sees the blood. I think I was gonna say it was the Octane player that pops out and gives him a little bit of information. He pops out there with the shields, lets him know exactly where he is. Gibby gets caught reloading, and that was it. Octane puts him up in the 1v1. But also I want to say congratulations for that beautiful teamwork on the other side of things. I like the way Octane popped over that platform and gave him the information, but sadly Gibby got caught reloading, and you never want to get caught reloading in the middle of a gunfight.
Definitely not, and you got to be real smart to be able to know, like I was saying earlier, we were just talking about, I was just saying that, you know, for example, not reloading out in the open, getting some cover, being able to position yourself properly so that the team can't flank you or push you or do anything that's gonna disrupt things for you. It's very critical. You got to be smart about all of that. So very important. And it's just the beginning, right? That was game one, and first game one looking good. Who do you feel has the advantage here? Team Zero or NVO?
Well, to be honest, I got to go with Zero Death, but mainly because I've just seen a lot more of them. You know, we saw them going up against a really hot Charm of Luck squad earlier in the round before this one. And I mean, Charm of Luck was already a solid squad, probably one of the better ones that we have in our tournament. And Zero Death was able to pull off the win against them and look damn good while doing it. NVO were on the other side of the bracket. This is the first time we're having them on screen. And I will say, they come with firepower. I love their composition. I love what they're trying to accomplish, but Zero Depth looked darn good. They won game number one, and I wouldn't be surprised they could do it once again here going into Phase Runner. Different set of skills on a different map, but still Zero Depth, they know what they're doing. They just need to execute.
Definitely. Execution, very critical. Very critical, very critical. And it's still super early. Again, we don't know who has the answers, but we want to keep this rolling. These teams have to figure out what they need to do when it comes to the lobby, renaming themselves, being able to prep properly, you know, mentally, and every aspect is just as important. So we're going to go into game two and see what they have overall. Again, this is a good battle. It was, both teams were aggressive. They were playing confidently, and that's what you want to see. So we will see how it all unfolds. I'm excited for it. I will say we are almost ready for the battle royale. We've got that lined up at the same time right now, so we're gonna go to that soon enough. Almost all the teams are in, and it is interesting enough because, you know, battle royale is incredible for Apex, but arenas is a new thing that's going to come off. I do believe on the 22nd they will announce ranked. They will announce a whole bunch of stuff for Apex, and who knows what Respawn is going to do. They're going to have some real special things. I think the community needs it. There's no more ALGS, and the community's thirsting for something special to come out. Maybe a new map. These are the things I'm predicting for sure for July 22nd for EA Play. When they do have the big conference, Respawn will be there showing off as much as they can. So look forward to that.
Yeah, I've been loving playing the game, you know, day in and day out. They definitely keep it fresh with the battle passes, with the challenges. I always feel like I'm playing for something to accomplish, and even the underlying layers of the game. You know, some of the interactions that you'll have with certain characters. This game is very well done, and obviously, just like, you know, it's no such thing as a perfect game. Let's be honest with you, but I will say I've been having a lot of fun learning and just falling in love with Apex. I think it's very well done, and it's probably one of my favorite games outside of Halo, because you know I'll come from my Halo fam. Either way, we're looking at NVO going up against Zero Depth, and you'll notice that it looks like Zero Depth changed their lineup a little bit, their composition. Now both are running the exact same composition: Bloodhound, Lifeline, and Gibby. They put the Octane away and traded it out for Lifeline.
Yes, they have, and it's just the beginning for this match here. Lifeline's always viable, and she's on both teams here, which means both teams are gonna have to worry about that quick revive that she offers. Just insane special. Even when they try to nerf her, she's still extremely useful for teams, and nothing better than being able to come back quickly overall. And then on top of it, with the book bag, she's like really ridiculous. So we'll see her in action, reviving her teammates as she goes forward. And speaking of Lifeline, let's check out this Lifeline wingman action. I love the wingman. That's one of the most powerful weapons. If you're skilled with it, you can definitely win with almost anybody on the field. And that first game is finishing. Good stuff right there.
Yeah, that Lifeline was left by himself, or excuse me, by herself in a 1v3 situation. As I told you before, I'm not that good at math, but I can tell 1 versus 3 is not an advantageous position to be in. So that was an easy clap for that team. But again, we're gonna find, I mean, that's just round number 1. You don't even have enough materials to get those heals and the weapons of your choice. Hopefully both of these teams were able to gather some materials, get themselves a little bit of extra, and now get the exact weaponry along with the heals that they want. Round 2, 3, and 4 are always so much different than round 1 that sometimes I would say that round 1 almost doesn't even matter half the time when it comes to 2 evenly matched up teams.
That is very true. And my thing here for the players holding that high ground, or at least having a good position to move in on. And right now it's looking like Zero wants to stay on the outside and just trying to take shots from there. And while that is not exactly their game, they're looking like a mid-range team with the weapons that they're using, it's still very useful to keep cover. Very critical. So important stuff. We'll see what happens and how this plays out for them. I do like what I see from NVO. They're going to try to flank from the backside as well, so that one player is keeping them busy. They're just looking like to get all angles to try to hold it down here, and I will see how this works out for them. Of course, NVO is a team that we checked out for a couple seconds while our matches were happening. We didn't want to stay on the opposite teams too long while we were covering one team, but we got to see some of these guys a little bit, and they're both, as you could tell, very efficient with what they're doing so far.
I think we have Zero Depth. We're up 1-0 when it comes to rounds, and once again we seem to have another lag out, and it's gonna be Zero Depth's Bloodhound. So Zero Depth, we're up 1-0, and it seems like they're gonna they just lost their Bloodhound to the Storm just right now.
Play on. And that's tough, but it happens. So far so good for Team NVO. They're taking control of the map and just staying in this situation for themselves.
And it looks like NVO are going to be taking advantage of the numbers here, as Zero Depths just lost their lifeline, and finally that Gibby player is going to go down as well. So just like that, I mean, Zero Depths were up 1-0 in these rounds, and even in this series. But it looks like NVO coming in hot, taking advantage of the situation and able to force that 3v2 action.
Yes, sir. And now we gonna wait it out here and see what happens with the situation. Players can get back in, but sometimes this lobby, this server issue is pretty out of hand for the arenas specifically, and there's not much we can do. You know, again, this has gone over an hour from schedule, and it's because of technical issues that I've been trying to deal with off camera And there's nothing wrong with going on over an hour. I mean, we still have the tournament for Battle Royale. It's happening right now in a second. It's about to start. But we are going to keep watching this match and see what's going on from these guys.
And Joe, they're trying to fight things out here. That's that Gibby player with that wingman, putting some excellent shots, but he's also going to be taking damage, so forced to utilize one of his heals right off the bat. Has not fully healed his health just yet, and Lifeline going to be taking some damage. Lifeline going to be losing all of her shields and most of her health. So in a 2v3 situation, they're going to have to get an early pick if they want to somehow come out on top. And sadly, Lifeline's going to go down. So Gibby, by himself, tries to pop a battery here. Can he pull it off? He gets the battery off. He has that Eva in his back pocket. I mean, with the Eva, anything's possible, right, Mag?
Oh yeah, man. That Eva is nasty. And man, oh man, respect to these guys trying to put up a fight and trying to do their thing. You know, we're talking about the Eva, and the Eva is very critical when you want to get up close and hip fire. You basically are hard to hit. It's very hard to hit when you got that hip fire going and someone's firing at you and you're trying to fire back. And in that situation, you know, having an Eva is a great counter to that situation. For me, I just rock an R9. If anybody tries to come at me with an Eva, they're going to get done before the Eva could ever get in there. So but scenarios happen how they happen, right? We're in round 4 of game 2. And we're taking a look here as NVO's trying to take this win right now. And even though, you know, we've pretty much allowing these teams to extend this event, we also don't want to extend it too far and keep on with the disadvantages that are happening. We got to talk to Respawn. I had an email I sent to them this week actually about these issues since the update for Genesis, and I don't want to get talked to about too much about it, but pretty much they're looking into how to solve these things and work on it. So we'll see when that comes around. It looks like NVO taking this win. It's only one game, but it's still a win, right? And that's all that matters. And through all the technical issues, that game is done, but we will work it out and see what's going on. Let's take a quick look into this here while we go. NVO taking game 2, but again, it's very early and it's a tied 1-1, and this is gonna go on all night. I don't know how this is gonna play out. Why not? You think we'll ever get done with this finals right now?
I'll be honest. I think we will. I think well, Zero Dep were up 1-0 in the series when we go into game number 2, and then even in that matchup they were up 1-0 in rounds. So when their team is fully assembled, they seem to be the stronger team, at least from what I'm able to see, in my opinion. So hopefully in this matchup going into game number 3, there'll be, you know, everybody will have fair and play nice with the servers, and everybody stays in for us to finally finish off this tournament. I think as long as Zero Dep is at full strength, I think they may just be the better team, and NVO just happened to take advantage of an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, it's very likely impossible, but you know, NVO made it here, and they have the chance to win it also. So I feel like we can't discredit them at the same time. So both teams, you know, are great teams. Will one team dominate or the other? I'm not sure, but we saw first game Zero take it, but there was a lot of hiccups there, and then now we in game 2, same scenario, and we're gonna just keep on playing forward. I honestly would like to point out one of the players from Zero said, hey, it is what it is. These situations are gonna happen. We're better. We're gonna win, whether it's 1-on-3, 2-on-1-3. So I respect them for just being able to just say that to me, the manager who's has to make the final decision on, you know, resetting or any of those type of scenarios. So pretty interesting, to say the least.
Well, we're tied up at 1 apiece right now, going into game number 3, and it looks like Zero Depths are going to be coming out hot with all of their members here. So we're seeing Juice on replay. Zonerves outplayed, bruh. Going up against TTV, it's Matt Sawashi and Lord Mags. Are you two related? Maybe I don't know if you guys are second cousin or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I'm a different type of breed, you know. I don't think we have the same bloodline, you know, but yeah, so let's see what happens here. I like both teams' style. You can tell that they can get aggressive when they feel like it, and then they also play very strategic and tactical, holding the positions necessary. So that is key because you're basically trying your best to make the other team make a mistake, and then when they do, that's when you can get aggressive and use that to your advantage to pretty put them in a disadvantage. A player's trying to flank, you all three focus on him, take him out. Now it's 2-on-3. You take your time on the 2-on-3. You don't rush it. You just want the action. You know, you just want to be able to take your time for it and get the win. So we'll see what happens. We're on game 3 right now. Hello, you're welcome, everybody watching. There is something special happening in the background with the Battle Royale coming up shortly. So get ready for that once this game finishes. And we're only on a 1-1 scenario. So there are going to be at least 2 more games if a team can sweep this scenario. We don't know if they can or will, but hey, I'll be happy with that if it does happen. And it's looking like Team Zero is wanting to get aggressive. Talk about that. They're not afraid here, and that's what you want to see by them, you know, being able to take NVO to a position of vulnerability if they can. And speaking of vulnerability, it's looking like getting super aggressive against Team Zero, and NVO pushed in very hard here. They're looking to try to take control of the situation, and down goes Swooshy. It's looking like NVO trying to stay in charge here, getting some good shots with this Eva, trying to finish up the job. Can they do it? It's a 1-on-1, folks. It's a 1-on-2. Apologies. And Lifeline bringing people back to life, but she goes down. Now it's a 1-on-1 officially. And can we see Team NVO somehow come back, or will Team Zero make it happen? Outplayed, bro, is with the wingman in his hand, and I love this gun, and it can be special, and it is, with the headshot with the wingman taking a win. And that right there, my friends, is just the beginning, and that's what you want to see.
And that was a beautiful 1-on-1 between both of the team's Gibby players, and they both looked real confident. I've never seen Gibby players play so aggressive like we just saw coming out of Zero Depths and NVO, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. Now we're gonna find out if they can replicate this going on to round number 2, because as we talked about before, now you have a little bit extra materials you can play with. You can get that weapon that you want that maybe you couldn't in round number 1, and get yourself some resources in case you get into a non-advantageous position, as we see Gibby already starting to make his way over toward the tower side, still rocking that wingman in his front pocket and a Mozambique in his back.
Yes, he is. And as we go into the live feed here, we're checking out the wingman action with the Gibby. I actually never used a wingman with Gibby specifically, but hey, I don't mind it. It can be really special if you can hit your shots. His gun shield there, that 50% extra health, whatever gun you're using that you aim down sight on, it's gonna be special. I messed around with the G7 a lot with Gibby, but I'm okay with all of these, testing some things out, seeing what these players can do, doing something a little different than normal. And right now, Team Zero, one player hurting pretty bad. They got to try to figure out this scenario. NVO doing real good, pushing them back into this corner. A lot of times, if you're not a defensive team and they push you into a corner, you get so uncomfortable. It makes it very, very hard. And as I say that, Zero decides that we're not going to get uncomfortable, and they actually push the pace here. And now they're making Team NVO a little bit uncomfortable, but NVO taking down one of their players, and man, oh man, doing really good, taking out 2 of their players. And there it is, NVO, wow, getting the win right there. A back and forth seesaw situation. So far, so good. I love it.
Yeah, I've got to say, Mac, this is quite a balanced back and forth. Hey guys, I'm back, by the way. Apologies. You never off
How's
the clock
work?
when you're a parent.
Halsworth was dealing with real life stuff, right? But now he's back and he's going to give us his players breakdown. If he's seeing these games, you're seeing what I just saw there, Kyle. First, you know, you had them in the corner and you thought you did the right thing. You pretty much pinned them down. Somehow they got the bravery and they found the maneuvering to push you during that time where you thought you had that scenario done out. Now, how do you play this next round so you can take back that confidence, or at least show them, hey man, you're not going to push us around like this?
You can't give up any ground. You don't back down. If they push you and they're contesting you, you push forward. You know, if how they seem to be doing it, zero depth. They like to take those zips along the top and just completely overwhelm, and they do get a little split up in moments. If I was MVO, I'd completely contest them. I'd go straight across the zip line, early bubble shield, and rush them. Throw them, put them on the back foot, and throw them off a bit and go, look, you can't just walk over us. We're still here, and we are going to hurt you.
Yes, I don't think that they think they're easy. I think that both teams know, like, hey man, we're dealing with some really solid players here. Let's not force it. And look at this from behind. Amazing stuff by Zero Death, flanking with the Gibby. Are you kidding me? Gibby the flanker? Oh my god, I think I've seen it all now, guys. I officially seen it all. Hey man, wow. Wow. Just wow. Gibby the flanker with a wingman also. Like, wow. That was good.
Now it's putting most Octanes to shame over there.
Talk about outplayed.
Like that.
Outplayed, bro.
Yeah,
he's made me
living
a
up to the
fan.
name.
He has made me a fan. Somebody Google this guy. But yeah, so looking good for the next round. And man, I gotta give him credit where credit's due. Gibby flanking, using a wingman. I could dig it. I could dig this swagger right here. I feel really, really fun. I wouldn't do it per se all the time, but I think it's a smart move when you think about the wingman having that extra movement when you're aiming down sight compared to most guns that'll slow you down a lot. It's gonna give you a little bit of mobility. So you saw him flank and basically help Team Zero get that win there. And again, it's still early. They are going back and forth. You want to see that type of action consistently, and I personally love it. And right now, it is getting thick. It's getting thick, almost over. Right now, Zero's like feeling it. You can feel that type of energy when they're in that flow right now. And you can see they're flowing very well. They do get surprise attack from behind. Really great stuff by the other team's Gibby with an R301, but he gets taken down. And man, Zero sitting comfortable, possibly taking this win right now. And there it is, taking the game. And that's something that why not actually call. He felt like Zero had what it takes, and he wasn't wrong for this game specifically. But I mean, they still got to win this next one. They have a chance to finish it off and win the championship and take it all. It's 2-1 for them. And speaking of 2-1, I'm gonna take a quick second and say thank you, Lord. We're in Battle Royale, because man, as you can see here, officially in Battle Royale for you guys. So the Battle Royale scene is happening at this very moment. Our second servers are up for that, and the teams are locked and loaded. So get yourself excited, because this is game one for our Battle Royale. We're gonna watch a lot of this for the rest of the night. It's gonna be exciting. We've seen some great teams, and today there's some new teams, so I'm pretty interested. And also some old teams like UMP right here. They're sitting here crafting some materials, and then a bunch of teams that we've seen before coming back for a vengeance, like Team Pug, R99. You know, there's a array of great players. DIB is in the building, as we saw them earlier get eliminated, but hey, they're in the battle royale scene. So still a lot of action for us as we go forward. Very early. So hoping everybody's with us and in the lobby and renaming themselves and joining in, getting prepared to go as we go forward for the finale here. Again, it's easier said than done to get this win, you know, for the arenas, but it's been a back and forth, which I love. But I'm also loving seeing some good action here on this battle royale scene. Just the most interesting Apex that we have today, because it's been around so long. Everybody has a lot of strategies and ways to play, and you're looking at Team Phantom pushing right now, trying to get aggressive, trying to get those early points so that they can win. Now it's tricky because if you get early points and you die, you don't get placement points, and you lose out on some good easy points. So it's a balancing act when you're playing in a tournament and you're doing battle royale. Pretty interesting overall. Right now, Phantom looking good. A new team here of players, and they're trying to sort out how they want to play this. And I like the way they're playing. They're very aggressive. They're pretty much hunting down these teams here, getting some really good massive shots. They didn't get the finish there, but man, oh man, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I love the arena setting. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But what I came to this game for is the battle royale. It is my favorite battle royale. I'm hoping one day I'll get to be able to cast some battle royale one day, because
right now you're gonna cast tonight. In less than 20 minutes. If they win this next game, we go right into casting. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think you would be amazing for it, man. You have the great calls, and it's been great to have you. And speaking of great, we can't stay here, and he's right. I want to interrupt him because we're going into the arenas. Don't make it sound like it's a bad thing. Why not? It's an amazing thing. We're in game 4 right now. All right, and it's just warming up, guys. It's just warming up. All right, so these right now, Zero can win it all if they win, and then we're going to be able to go to battle royale, and we're going to see why not in his first battle royale casting, which would be awesome. But we're watching game 1 versus NVO versus Zero. I'm sorry, this is game 4. Confusing what games we're playing. It's the battle royales in game 1. This is in game 4. Team Zero that we're gonna jump over to. No. Oh my gosh. Might have to reset this again. So that is fine. We'll go back into the battle royale scene and just deal with this right now. We're gonna give it a quick reset. Speaking of that, look at that Pub. If Why Not wants to go ahead and break this down here. Pug, you know, this is a legendary gaming word. They're trying to heal and get things right for their teammate.
And look at that, that Wraith, it looks like he was able to get the heal off, allowing Octane to get his little meds going. Hopefully as a shield battery, and Wraith is fully kitted, ends up getting himself a purple shield and an R99 with a Spitfire in the back. So if I'm a fan of Pog right now, I'm feeling good. I mean, your Wraith player is obviously fully kitted. He's gonna go into the hill to try to finish off this kill. I'm loving the way Pog is playing right now. They're playing super aggressive. Clearly they want to get that early KP points and then maybe slow things down once they start to play for that RP. But hey, when it's the early game, you want to get aggressive, and when you have purple shields, I mean, come on now, you gotta take advantage of it, Mag.
Yes, you do, and it's important, especially during these early rounds, you gotta go bananas. If you give me a blue shield in the early rounds and there's teams next to me, I'm running to them, going full send with anything. I don't care if it's a Mozambique. I don't care if it's a 2020. I just need those quick points, easy points, and then from there, you can take the rest of the rounds easy and work on placement and work on positioning and take out teams when you have good positioning. Don't force it. So that's something that's critical 100%. But at the same time, you know, there's different play styles. Some teams need to be aggressive to score points. They're not great at winning it all because they're overly aggressive and they're going for kills. So the funny part is that our actual setup is done by Match Point, a system that Respawn themselves created, and we took and spun it around a little bit and pretty much made it so that players have to win it all to end the game. So pretty much you get to 50, that's Match Point, and from there you have to win it all. And that's where it's super interesting, fun, and exciting to watch those type of gameplays. And we're going to see that today very shortly, as the game you're watching right now is a Match Point format, and it's the first match of the day. And we're going to spin around and check out some other teams as they revive and they heal up and they figure out what is going on with themselves as we go forward here. I like it. I love it. And man, I'm excited for the Battle Royale tonight, and we're almost there. We're right around the corner. I want to eat a apple and some water, but we're gonna get into this. That's gonna be my dinner for today, guys. But we're gonna definitely get into this once this next tournament finishes, which is gonna finish very shortly. But the Arenas tournament is still in action. Once we get done with that, we could focus in on one final event, which is this right here. And I like what I'm seeing by Sushi. About to put in some work right now. They want to try to push. They took out a player, but they're being very passive with this scenario, falling back instead of pushing them. So trying to keep the right mentality and not force things, which is always good too. You know, your placement is very important, and knowing how to win is critical.
Currently 12 squads remaining in this match right now, and about 3 KP just for this Octane by himself, but he's running out of ammo out of his R301, and his wingman as well doesn't have much ammo in this. 3, 2, 1, he's about to run. He's about to, I'm glad he's practicing his kicking and warming up his feet, because he's gonna have to be doing a lot more of that as he's getting a bit low on ammo.
And he gets taken down. He gets taken down right there, and that's a big hit. Great stuff right there. And man, it's gonna be a fun night with this right here. So far so good for them, but look at this right next door. Inch, a team we've seen before, doing pretty good, and now they're back in the fight, about to get into some action as they try to rotate. They're in a bad position. They don't want to stay here, but they have a team in front of them, so they're trying to figure out that scenario. Ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize. We understand you want to watch this, and this is what you've been watching for 2 months. There's been several hundred, sometimes thousands of people watching our live streams for these events. We're bringing Arenas for the past 3 weeks here, and we're almost done with the Arenas finals for today's qualifiers. This is so that a team can advance, and we're going to go back to that right now. And I hope y'all apologize. I hope y'all understand I apologize. We're going to cut off the Battle Royale, give you the scenario, right? Zero is up 2 games to 1. NVO has to win this next game, or it will officially be eliminated and Zero will win it all. So right now, Zero has a chance to win it all and advance to the majors, and then we'll see that later on this month. But it's not a short shot. You have a lot of teams trying to get those spots. So right now, you need to get in to win, and it's looking like Zero is about to go ahead and take off and do what they can starting this game right now. Zero already in a fight, trying to figure it out in the center of the ring. I like being in here sometimes. It's fun action. Door-to-door service. We have scenarios on what they can do. Remember, Team Zero is up 2-1, and they just got to win one more game. So this means the most to them. But at the same time, MVO doesn't want to go out without a fight. They want to try to get this win. We'll see how they play it out. Really serious battle with that EVA 8. Good shots overall. Nice hip fire. And everybody's healing up, taking their time. And look at this, coming in hot, and good first win. And again, this team is not to be played with. Ladies and gentlemen, do not sleep. I like what I'm seeing, and we're like I said, it's still very early, but NVO can come back and get a win in this scenario. They have no choice. They have no choice. We just want to take a second to give a thank you to Respawn, EA, always being supportive of me for the past 5 years. And when I asked to do these events and we started talking about it, you know, they were just like, for sure. It was an honor and privilege, and we're going to keep bringing these to you all the way through until September, and then we'll continue that after with new events. There's some charity stuff I'm going to do. There's some content creator tournaments, a little bit of everything for you guys. And oh my goodness, NVO put themselves in a terrible position, and amazing stuff by Zero to surround them heavily and pretty much get that round in under 30 seconds. You guys didn't even get to watch that, but we are going to see the next round, and good stuff by Team Zero so far.
Great job by Zero Depth to clap back in that game, assuming that round number 2 to tie things up here. Now we're going up to round number 3. This is going to be oh so important. I promise you, whenever there's a tie, whether it's a series, whether it's rounds, whether it's games, no matter what it is, that tie-breaking matchup is obviously so important. I'm not sure if we have Kyle here, but I'm sure he would probably attest to that as well.
Yeah, these guys have been bang on with each other all the time. There's been no backing down, no running away to heal or anything. Even if they've got a sliver of health, they've just been on each other consistently throughout every single match so far.
100% agree, and I think the importance here to hear Kyle more, just to give his insight and continue to break down what he would do here as a player in these scenarios. Of course, it's a little bit mayhem. Everybody's just overly aggressive. They want the win. They feel confident, and there it is again. Oh my goodness, this might be it, guys. One more game, and you might see a champion tonight. What do you guys think is going to happen right here? Are they going to play the exact same way, or teams just going to be overly aggressive like that?
Yeah, I think that's all they want to do. I think both teams just are fraggers. They just want to send each other, get it done with, and kill each other. They're just going for the advantage.
Yeah,
so
and now
I believe this will probably be the last one.
This might be the last round if Zero can get it done, right? It depends on that, but it is easier said than done, and NVO still